Mines. I think I agree that mines should be only tier 8 and lower, but they need to fix some stuff on the hill.
They can also put like the on-site changes in that map.
Yeah, they could make, I think they should make entrances to the hill on the east side, like one here and one there. On the 7 line, you can just drive up that way too.
I really like the houses that are in the middle and on-site.
Yeah, that would be nice. And those ramps to get up, across from the water to the land on the 3 line are nice as well. There used to be a boost. This is the boost that I really miss in E3, where you boost, you're in the north spawn, you boost up onto this, onto a platform on E3, and you spot people crossing here and you can get in a shot or something. That was really nice. Maybe a little too overpowered, but I don't know, I don't think so.
It's the same with Ensk. I just feel like that the map would be better if you would put the on-site changes into the map.
Oh, for sure. Breaking up the railway so you can actually get through.
Yeah.
It would be so much better. And I'm thinking that the reason they're not doing this yet might just be they're doing it on that new map, Oyster Bay, like you said, which is a really good sign. They're breaking up the flanks so that you can cross between them. But I'm wondering if they were hesitating to do that because they were worried about games becoming too short, but I don't think that's really the problem. I don't think that the maps, I don't think that's a fix to make the maps more quarter-like. That's not really fixing the problem of steamrolls. Sure, it might make the matches longer, but the matches are going to be just as fucking stale. Because you're just in a corridor and doing nothing, and then suddenly your team is all dead. Because the other flank they can push through or something. You can make their maps more dynamic in so many ways, man.
Uh,
And a lot of these maps, like Lakeville, is there's just so much wasted space. Like I think in Lakeville they should fucking split the mountain in two, make the middle and the one line meet up and have some kind of road between them and make the widen the mid road quite a bit or a decent amount at least. Expand the city into the water and push the water so that the lake is smaller.
that would 100% help the map.
Yeah, because the city is like really hard. It's just
Like,
unplayable, kind of.
there's two options on that map. You have tanks that are like hold on, so you don't go into the valley, you go into the city, or you have nobody that can play hold on in the valley, so you go into the valley. I don't know. Valley is not an option, and everything else is
Yeah.
just water or a fucking hill.
Yep. They've done some changes to Glacier. I think that this area in general is kind of useless. I mean, why even have a route here if you can just get shot by TDs pushing down it or just get stuck there? Could make this, could expand this light tank area quite a bit if you just kind of maybe, maybe not. I mean, you could remove it, but or just make it more straightforward as an option to go there. But I think part of Glacier's problem is You have to go all the way to the K line to actually clear that side, and all the way around the A line. And the EBR position is just way too powerful. They should open up, should make it so you can drive up the carrier from the north, and then just make it a north fight centered map, and then make it so you can go both ways, this way, that way. You could also maybe go up this way and this way, just so there's lots of entries to go up, so it's not like the one team just wins it and then it's over. It could, I don't know. Not sure exactly how what they could do on this side to make it better. I just think there's better ways that they could allow medium tanks to progress on the one line on Ghost Town as well.
Yeah. You push up, you get shot from the fucking TD perch.
Yeah. These TD perches need to either be nerfed, or they need to make the terrain on the one line better so that people can actually progress. Because being a medium tank on Ghost Town sucks.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a good turret, like a Cent 7-1 or something, it can shoot the heavies. Otherwise, you're fucked. And at Vickers, this is the worst map in the game for the Vickers almost. Well, maybe not, but Tundra might be worse. But speaking of Tundra, that's another map where they fucking kind of destroyed the map with boosting. Kind of just removing boosting, I think, was another bad thing on their part on that map. And just these maps with where you just have a hill you have to fight over.
I mean, I feel like they make a good change to Tundra now because they
Yeah,
put this rock so you can't get shot on the cross anymore.
yeah, it definitely is a good change.
But that's also the only thing they do when there could be more things they could do.
Yeah, for sure. I think sure it's great that you won't get shot going to the hill, but I think even more importantly is the north team will actually contest the hill more often. So you won't just get rolled when you spawn north, because a lot of time the south just wins the hill for free because everyone's shooting the guys going up the hill. And it's nice that you don't get shot from the hill, and I think it's a good change, but I also just don't like this whole idea that you your whole team just goes and fights the hill, and if you lose it, then you're probably just going to lose a game. There needs to be, and there's only one entrance to the hill. That's just stupid. Should either be boosting for like a pretty easy boost that someone
The
could do in a
boosting
fast
was
tank. Like if you're in a
the
relatively
boosting was not
fast
a
tank,
problem.
yeah,
Like you could do the boost in a slow tank even if you just kind of put some time into it and figured out how it works.
yeah, and in my opinion, if they made it so that it's hardly even a boost, and you just if you're in a fast tank and you just look at it and see, okay, I can probably go up that, or you see your teammates go up, it should be allowed, you know? And then
Yeah.
people who are more experienced who are in slower tanks can even do it. I think that's fine. Gives another way to makes it so that the outcome of the game isn't just decided right away. Mm, I don't know. I feel like there's so little to do in the middle of this map as well, because the hill is just too powerful. I think they could somehow improve it. I don't know how exactly, but maybe if they made the hill lower down, raised or lowered its height, and then made some hilly area here and here or something. I don't know. I really want to see the super test. I've seen some images of it, but it's hard to tell what's actually happening, like what they actually changed. It's changed so much, it's hard to see what it actually looks like. I'd have to be in a training room or something to airfield what they did on that map. But hopefully they see what they did on that on Abby on RU and implement something like that to that effect. And Erlenberg. Erlenberg is like impossible to push the 9 line or the 1 line usually, unless you spawn south on like encounter and go here or something. Just made it so hard to push anywhere. Even in the city, you can get stuck in this area coming from the south, and this side just gets cucked in the city. Well, you go this way. If you have no support, then you're just like, if you lose this spot, then your team just loses. Did you see any bad changes to the maps on the test server? Did they all look, for the most part, good?
I feel like most of them look good.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just hope for more of that.
I mean, I don't know what I think of the changes on Outpost on the city.
I didn't get a great look at it, to be honest. Did seem okay, so I think they didn't add a way to drive into the middle. There's still only one way to drive into the middle, right?
There's only one way.
I think that's my biggest issue with the fact they just didn't do that.
Should just do put the auto changes into that too.
Yeah. I don't even if it's super exposed or something, just add another way to go up. All
I
these
mean,
choke points,
it's
man.
exposed. It's exposed in onslaught too. You can get shot from the city if you like drive up. So it's like your own
Yeah.
risk if you want to take it or not.
Yeah, I like those kind of changes. I'm guessing the contest is down now.
Maybe. Can go look.
Well, I did see that they changed some stuff in the southeast though on Outpost. I didn't get a good look at it, but it looked like it was making it easier to push that flank or progress on that flank with like medium tanks, which
Yeah,
I think looked good.
there's a bunch of rocks and everything now to hide behind and stuff.
I really think that making maps should be whatever they're spending money on that on right now, that they should spend like 2 times as much money on that, because I think it's such a big part of the game that influences all kinds of things and influences it's probably the biggest one of the biggest influences on enjoyment as well. think what they could do for Studs to make it better is add like a hill or a mound at J1 and J0. So that once you've won the south flank, you have something to push and then get cover behind. It'll make it just a little bit easier to push through their base, or at least hold it once you
It could
push
just
through.
be a little hall that goes down towards like K1 and
Yeah,
what was it,
that would be
K0.
nice too. That would work
You just
too.
have a little hall, like little ditch where you can sit in and have
Yeah,
at
just
least
make
some position that you can go to.
just make something there, not just bare ground. I kind of feel like recently when I've been playing my light tanks on this map though, there's very little early game damage that's happening. It's almost
Yeah,
because
because
people are starting to
almost
learn.
all of it is safe. Like
Yeah,
you
so
can
now
go everywhere safe.
like if you can still have big games on this map for sure. It's just a lot of it time it comes near the end game.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some way that they could make it so that light tanks get early game, a little bit of early game damage without fucking everybody over. Probably would be pretty hard to do. You'd
I
have to
mean,
make it.
before you got a lot on this map before the changes.
What did they change that made it worse? Guess just the south or something. I know they changed the south a lot, but did they change the north? Or... I don't remember.
Mm, they when they change the city, I feel like that you have like a better like if you play heavy, you can drive into the city way safer now than before.
Yeah, I don't really remember that much. I know the spots in the city where you're sniping from are safer. I don't remember what heavies used to do to get. I know, I'm pretty sure that people bled a lot along these lines,
Yeah,
but I don't know if that was because of a map change or if people just started learning and
more
started
like
taking the low ground.
I feel like it was because of the map change because the city is just bigger now, so you have more
Okay.
space that you can drive like into the city.
I would like to see some passive bushes, like sprinkle like 4 of them in here, 4 of them in here. Just you wouldn't want to make it only one, otherwise it would be obvious where they are. Just add some, and don't make them trees, make them just some bushes randomly in the fields. So like when you're losing this flank, a lot of the time I don't know where to go in my light tank. I either go back one line, or I go back play up here, or I can play like here.
I mean, I
If
could
there was just
do
a bush somewhere
bushes
out here, it'd be
like on the
nice.
steps, where they have like
Yeah,
bush lines on the field.
yeah, that'd be interesting. They could even put a rock next to it. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Well, that might be a bit too powerful if you're losing. Well, if they have valleys to go in to push through, then it's fine because they always have the option to take the valley. But if they don't go in the valley, go on the high ground, then you spot them and then your team from city shoot them, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it should be clearable, something that's clearable. So you would have to add like eventually clearable. So if it's not clearable, then I think it might be too overpowered. They'd have to add like
You should have
some
a
kind of
chance
ditch
without
like
that.
this. Yeah, some kind of ditch to drive up to it and spot it. I don't know how they would add that. Could be through the middle. Middle might be too easy to clear though. I think the best solution might just be to add no rock. Just use a bush alone near the center, but outside of proximity of the center. Like here maybe and here. I don't know. I'm listing all these changes, but it's not like I'll have any influence over any of that shit. But I just really want stuff like this to happen. think on Live Oaks, there's a lot of there's almost too much foliage in the middle. Light tanks can't get out spotting on a lot of locations unless they can just sit in the open like a manticore. And there's not an easy way to progress up bushes or something.
Yeah. Like once you reach a position, you're there, or you just leave. You cannot go forward.
Yeah. I think they could make it so that most of the bushes and trees, mostly bushes, I would say, are centered around the middle. And then there's less like over here covering this ridge from getting spotted. Like this ridge, light tanks in the middle should spot this ridge, I think. And they could make them extend this ridge a little bit, make it a little bit like so it has this light tail here so that you can kind of pull into cover easier. But if you're exposing yourself on this ridge, I think you should potentially get spotted, at least when you fire. Or if you're like a shit barn through the bushes, maybe there can be some paths so that you can get within 200 meters with CVS and spot a shit barn. And there should be options for the south to spot like this area if you progress your way through the bushes. You know, on proc you can progress your way through the bushes and spot the tank destroyers. On Live Oaks, there's that progression is usually not there. You can only get close enough to spot them when they fire only, or if they have like no camo at all, maybe a ship barn or a yag. Or you just have to YOLO after the scout has died and get the spawning damage, or push to the east and get the spawning damage. And I kind of think that they should add a second building for either side, to be honest. Because I think the tank destroyers, like if your light tank is it Paista going over some maps right now and how I change them. If your light tank dies and they still have a light tank, like your tank destroyers can get just absolutely fucked and it'll lead to steamrolls. Because they can't escape that building. So if they're winning like the south and they're all stuck at this building and they lost some mid as well, light tank is dead. Everybody at this building is fucked. Everybody at this building is probably fucked. There needs to be like two buildings. So like a building here maybe, and a building here. You can still get caught, but there's some checkpoints kind of where you can get safe for a little while at least. I think what they could do maybe is remove the water from this area. Just make it high, raise the ground a little bit. Make it more traversable and keep some of these buildings to spot from.
Yeah, that should be a possibility.
But also this city fight kind of just city
The city
fight.
is kind of ass if you're from the lower side because you always get shot when you cross into the city. From the other side, you don't really get shot when you like you
Yeah.
don't have that big ass angle.
And it doesn't even feel that good once you're there. Unless you're in a certain kind of tank. Because there's no hull downs for the most part.
Yeah.
There should be at least a couple of hull down positions, I think. Like, too many hull downs is usually bad if it's just straight up, that's the whole fight, is you're just staring at each other, but
there's no holdons on that map. Like
there needs to be hull downs, but also options for pushing up and progressing. Like a balance between the two, I think, in general. And I think in the south, they could expand this even more. I feel like the south side has a huge disadvantage now. Unless they just get a good team, which commits, all commits to the outside. If you don't have a team that which commits, which usually seems to be the case for me anyway, like, you're just fucked. This area sucks balls. They just go wide, and you just can't do anything. And they get here, and they get here, and they just shit on you.
Like just sit there and
Like if
yeah,
you're in a
there.
if you're in a bad light tank like a Sheridan, you can't there's nothing you can do against a Manticore or something in the mid really. You can like play passive up here, but you're not gonna do shit. They'll take underneath for free. There's nothing you can really do about it. Then you try to play the south, and the south sucks just as much. It needs to be some kind of fighting area that's more equal. Fjords.
There's way too much ground that we cannot play.
Yeah,
Like
I feel like
there's
this
way
flank has a huge problem of just being kind of stupid. That's how I would describe it. I don't know.
Also, I feel like this hall position in the middle is just so much better from the if you start on the 0 line than from the other side. It's like
Oh yeah, for sure. The north gets absolutely cucked when it comes to this area. If they commit into the dip and they're smart about it, and you don't full on commit with like 3 tanks, the game is 70% or 80% win for the south already. Because they win the dip if they have any tanks going north, which sometimes doesn't happen, but usually will happen. They come north, and then everybody here is just stuck, and they just slow die. How to fix fjords? Well, the east spawn is better overall, so you probably want to give some advantages to the west, first of all. Hmm.
they should just what like is the heavy flank right now. I think they should just like make it bigger somehow.
Open it up and not make it
Yeah,
one singular corner. I was thinking the same exact thing.
because
Yeah.
if you're from the what's the one line, you just have way better positions to play than when you play on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. This side sucks unless you're in a tank that can play perfectly hold down. And if you're in a tank that can play perfectly hold down, then you might as well be on this side anyways, because this side is great for that as well.
Oh.
Uh, and why should all the heavies just come and fight on one stupid corner where a lot of heavies don't have the armor profile to even fight back if they spawn from the east, especially? They just can't do anything. And this section just needs to be like this whole third of the mountain just needs to be removed, I think.
But that then they also need to lower the profile of the mountain where the TDs always play, because otherwise they can just shoot into the heavy lane.
Like this.
Not what is it? E8?
Oh, here into here.
Like
Right.
E8 needs to be like a little bit lower,
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
because if those TD hits are that high like they are right now, they can just sit up there with their fucking VTDs and then they shoot you.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, they can already kind of do that, but if you
But
open it up,
I
then
think
it's
they'd
like,
have to be careful with that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't care if they fucking leveled that shit, but the TD players would probably be pretty upset. So realistically speaking, they would have to be careful and just lower it a little bit or something. Or just make it so that half of the heavy flank can be shot by TDs and the other half can't. And the half that you can be shot by TDs, if you know what you're doing and you know, it's like this corner. Like if you know what you're doing, then you can usually avoid the TD shots. But if you don't, then you're just gonna get farmed. I think it should be the case
yeah.
down here too, where if you know what you're doing, you can mostly avoid the TD shots. Because I think it's stupid when TDs can just farm you, you know? Um, I think that the north, that would just make the heavy fight in general better, but I don't think that would necessarily. Well, if it made it so that the red team had a better chance of pushing through, then maybe it would help the west side a little bit. But I think something needs to be done about up here.
The mid, like the middle needs to get like a better entry from the zero line.
Could cut off
Because
some
like
of this maybe. Open this up a little bit. I don't know if that would really fix anything though. They still get stuck there. You
I mean,
think
they
easier
just
to
need to
push zero
fix
line?
they just need to fix what is it, the fucking hall. Like the hall is like a big issue. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know entirely how to fix that. Hmm. I'm trying to think of a similar map where it's team above and a team below, but it feels fair enough. Uh, can't think of one. I mean, there's Proc Hill, but that's kind of a stalemate. I mean, I guess that's okay. Um, well, I don't think they can add just a path up to go up on top of this thing because that would be too broken. Because if the other team doesn't contest this shit, there's a way to get safe from the north, then they would just fucking kill the whole heavy flank for free, which is not good.
It's really hard to fix that, I would say.
I think they could maybe what they could do lower this area and then keep this area the same and then make a bowl in between and then put the high ground up here and then shift this over to the right. I don't know. So that both teams have the option of contesting a bowl and it's more fair. Instead of just one team coming from above and one team coming from below, you meet on like even ground and then there's a bowl you meet in between. I don't know. Tricky.
I mean, you always like one line team here can always just go to the ball from the top side and drive to it safe and play the middle and shoot like the heavy line cross and everything.
Yeah.
And zero line team can just not do that without being punished for it.
I think one thing that would yeah, that's true. I think one thing that would help just in general the North spawn with this area, these people will get killed less easily if they make it easier to push through the north. And I think they could open this area up and make this like hard terrain coming along here. Maybe, at least for this short path. And make this area demolish this mountain and turn it into, or most of the mountain anyway, keep that or something and make there be like a hidey hole down here. I don't know. Or some kind of
They could make it like
defensive location.
they can just open up one part of the mountain so you can like play behind the mountain there and have like a fight against each other, something like that.
Oh yeah, that might work too. I would be kind of concerned that it would be too powerful if you have like three fast tanks. They just push straight and then just win the side while pushing the mid, but I don't know how often that would happen. You would have to add like a TD position back here or something so that if they did do that, then they couldn't push through. I think for some reason my intuition just tells me that there should be some position back here for the north.
I mean, if
Maybe
you do that,
something that's pushable, like they make this water traversable, but something that you could defend, but it couldn't be too powerful because this position is powerful, like very powerful sometimes, but it's kind of necessarily powerful because this spawn sucks so much, but You wouldn't want it to be annoyingly powerful either.
If you would open the hill at A7, couldn't they just like put a perch onto the hill that is at C7, so you can cover that if they push through to counter if your team is not playing there?
What do you mean by that? So you raise this and this. There's a
No,
perch up.
C7, like on the back side of the hill, you like use the hill
Oh,
to
like
make
a
it
area
like.
pier?
Now, when you have A7, they make like a street there where you can go fight. And if their team is not playing there, they can put a perch at, what is it, C9, C9, B9, something like that, Doug.
What if they just completely changed this map, raised all this area, and then made it like the same height as this area? And then just remove most of this mountain.
If they would make it like that you can fight somewhere here, that they use this hill to put like something here to cover this if your team is not playing there. That's what I mean.
Think I understand.
So, you know, the TD players would also be happy.
Feels almost too disjointed still, though. What would light tanks playing in this area? Who are they even like? They're just not spotting for anybody. I feel like light tanks would kind of get cucked.
True.
I think this mountain is a problem. It's too long to drive around.
It's too huge.
Yeah, they need to somehow fix this whole area and then make the heavy area more playable. And then we can think about the bull thing. I should start a podcast where I just talk with a group of good players about a certain map and how they would ideas on how they would fix it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I would be down to do that.
Like if
It's
you have
pretty
Ferry
fun.
and others play it.
Yeah. This can be episode 1, all of the maps at once. And then I go over each one individually after some more fine tuning to my thought. Fjords 2. Already did kind of Ghost Town a little bit. Well, there's some stuff I didn't talk about in Ghost Town. I just talked about the one line. But I think the city as well could use some work, really. It's just not, there's like 2 positions on each
Not
side.
really pushable without being punished for it.
Yeah. Hmm. There's got to be some fucking Mega Mind genius out there. We got to look at other games. Like the problem is I don't play other games either, and other games have different, maps, and they're designed differently because they have time to kill and stuff like that, which is very different. But there's got to be some other similar games out there that have some good maps that we could learn from. I just don't play other games, so this is just my thought
It's kind of the
processes
same
so
for me,
far.
so
Uh, well, they made some changes so that TDs can't shoot into the city, which I think is pretty good overall. Blitz map design makes it so you can flank on almost every single map from multiple avenues. I have seen a little bit of Blitz map design, and it looked pretty good. But it is a 7v7 format. But it looks like the games would be way more dynamic. Like, it'd be way more decision-making, flanking, maneuvering, like outmaneuvering your opponents and outsmarting them rather than just Capolo
can't you
sniping
put
them.
Wild of Tanks Blitz maps on Spreadsheet?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Can I do that? How do I change the game? Oh, I can go home, Blitz. Yeah, let's look at some of their maps. It's gonna be hard to tell from a top-down view, but Strigon, do you know what's considered like a good map for World of Tanks Blitz? Like, what are some of the good maps that generally players think are good? And what? It's encounter, right? All of them. Okay. Himmelsdorf. Himki. Hell yeah. Wait,
I
I've
mean, I've
seen.
played some Blitz before, but I have only really played low tier because I didn't like skip anything or buy a premium tank or something.
How to win on every map. I do have Blitz downloaded on my phone, but I think it's just kind of too hard to tell without having played the maps. You could probably, if you looked at it enough, I'm sure you could identify some trends that are different from their maps compared to ours, but they do have a lot of symmetrical maps, it looks like, which I think is okay. I don't think symmetry is necessarily bad or good. I think it's okay to have asymmetrical maps, and I think it's okay to have symmetrical maps, but relatively symmetrical maps. I don't think it's good or bad necessarily, but I think there are good and bad examples of both, kind of. But this map, I remember watching this map in competitive. I liked this map.
I
There's
think I've
just
played that before.
there's just so many different angles and avenues you can take. It's almost, I think it's too big of a map, probably. Maybe not though. It's almost too chaotic where to go. Like you just know, it's just like, are there good positions? I don't know. You just kind of go and feel it out. Feels like, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe there are good positions. I'm sure there are good and worse positions to go to, but I guess it's kind of the ideal way it should be is there's a little bit of you have to feel out where the best place to go is based on the current situation. This one I doesn't look I don't think I like the look of this one really. Not enough hull downs. Well, maybe this center plaza is probably a hull down thing. Casilla? Is this Casilla? 149. Uh, you can go on my Discord server. What do you want to stream? The map? I don't know. Without actually, it's hard to. I think I'd rather just critique World of Tanks maps from what I know now instead of looking at other um games right away. I mean, I feel like I would have to play it a lot in order to actually have a good opinion about what's good about it and what's bad and stuff. On Ghost Town though, there needs to be more than one area to fight in the city, I feel like, or some way
They need
to
to. How
progress
about they
it.
just make the city bigger?
Yeah, I think they yeah. What if they just fucking removed this line, added like 1.5 lines to this, and then just made the city the whole left flank? I don't know. I mean, nothing really happens over here anyway, so
It's like nothing really happens on that side, and you can also use like one square to what's the other side to the one line also to like just have more space for the bigger city.
so you think they should shift the perch and remove like move all this over one square or something? Kind of.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that would probably work as well. They need to make these lines playable.
The first should also not be able to like completely shoot into the city or some shit.
Yeah.
Like it's so annoying. of course, it's an angle you need to pay attention to, and so like, do you pay attention to it or not? But
I think what they could do is maybe drop this thing southwards, this thing northwards, shift it all to the left a little bit, including this thing to the left a little bit, and then add a fountain or something in the middle, and then add a safe spot kind of here, and a safe spot there, and maybe even a safe spot or some kind of cover, maybe an entrance through here, entrance through there, I don't know. Something like that. I can look real quick for a couple minutes, Dragon, if you want. Um, but I'll
if they would,
just to
like,
get a look at it.
they could add like a couple more houses towards the outsides, maybe, so it's a little bit more covered, you know.
Like where? From the outside of the city.
My Spreadsheet is not loading, and I'm driving EVR races on the side.
I see.
Like, they could maybe do something if they like make the city bigger in general, that you have like a little bit more on this side, you know. And if you move it to the outside here, because this area, you can like move this a little bit more towards like here, and then you
Yeah.
can also have like more like stuff in the inside here.
Yeah, I think that
Because
would help.
if you just move the buildings, it would be a little bit like there would be a lot of open space if you see it like that, you know.
Yeah. And I kind of think they should another I don't really like the fact that TDs, mediums, and light tanks are all disjointed as well because the light tanks aren't really able to spot. They're like the light tanks, who are they spotting? They're spotting other light tanks half the time and then like maybe a straggler medium. And then they get to spot maybe the tank destroyers. And then by the time that the light tank of the opposing team is dead, the tank destroyers are already leaving and stuff. Like it's like the light tanks get kind of cucked. I feel like this didn't happen as much before, but it kind of happens now. Where lights don't get as much on this side. Mediums
I
just
feel like
come
you
over
kind of
here and
have to
camp
change the
anyways.
bush line.
Yeah, they need to add some safe spots or something, like a mound here. And then, I don't know, the bush line, I've been thinking about how to change that, and it's pretty difficult. So I'm gonna
Hi.
look.
Because right now it's like you drive through the bushes,
Okay, let's do
then
this.
you spot each other in proxy, so you both mostly just die because there's no safe space, and you both get lit, and you cannot do anything against it.
Yeah, I'll think about that in a second, Nicholas. I'm gonna watch Strigon's uh
Uh,
Blitz map, see what's up. Replay. Mini map,
Yes.
okay. This is a random battle?
Yeah, this is a random battle.
Okay.
Like the way they make these maps, all of them, like most of them, they always give you a way out and a way to transition to another flank.
I like that a lot.
Like sure, there are power positions like there are in PC WoT,
Mm-hmm.
but there are also like way more ways so that you can travel between parts of the map.
Yeah, that's something that I feel like there are probably half of WoT
Whereas
maps have
in
a big
what
problem with.
PC, whereas in what PCs just here have 3 tunnels, deal with it.
Yeah, it's very much corridors, and you have to fight each other head on, and you're just stuck. And then sometimes there's one flank that can win, or one tank that's progressible, but the other one isn't. So your whole team gets stuck at the non-progressible flank, and the other flank gets rolled, and then you're surrounded,
Look at
and
this.
everything
Look at this
collapses.
flank. Look at this flank. The Kran, hold down Kran. I cannot deal with a hold down Kran in pretty much anything.
Yeah, I like this. In 15 versus 15, he probably wouldn't be able to play that aggressive, I guess, is one thing, but you also just have the option to do this. When I try to think of what the best, like, what the idealistic map is in World of Tanks, I don't really think there's any map that doesn't have a problem, some problems, and I don't think it's really even possible to make a map that feels great without having like a little bit of some kind of problem for one of the tank classes or some problems with some positions and stuff, but it's definitely very much the case that the maps can be improved a lot as to how they currently are, I think. Yeah, this feels more like an arena.
Yeah, all of the maps are designed that way. They feel more like an arena fight than an traditional World of Tanks map.
Yeah, the World of Tanks maps feel more like a staged, like here's where you're supposed to fight and don't differ. There's no other options. You can't do anything else. You just go to the designated positions where you're supposed to go, and then you fight all down or something, or you sit in a bush. There's feels like there's way more creativity with how you can play in a map like this.
Yeah, there are way more things that you can do in this
Hmm.
game. Like there's still the pattern that happens in BC WoT where heavies go somewhere and mediums go somewhere else,
Hmm.
but it's not as rigid. Is what I die.
Do you think that there are any classes of tanks that would struggle with a map kind of like this? I'm thinking that tank destroyers might be hit the hardest, but I
I
think
think that
overall it might be better.
tank destroyers may struggle, but at the same time, from my experience in this game,
Hmm.
it's not as much of a struggle. This is another map that I like because this has a this map kind of has a situation like old Studzianki, where there's a trench where it's all or nothing, but there is also a way around it and a way to avoid it entirely.
In your opinion, do you think WoT maps are in general too small or too big? Is that part of the problem, or do you think it's more just how they're
Some maps,
designed?
I think it's more of how they're designed than anything.
Yeah, I usually
They're way
agree.
too simplistic and focus on the here have two corridors with a dead zone in the middle.
Yeah, and I think part of it is the maps don't really need to be enlarged. It's just that there's a lot of, on some maps, a lot of space that just isn't used because it's just bad map design, like Lakeville or like
You're
ends for
gonna
the
see something
rails and stuff.
in a moment. Right around here. Boom, minimap. T49 behind me. This
Hyper
doesn't
flank.
happen in PC what?
Yeah, definitely not. It's very rare that someone will completely surprise you like that.
But that's because Blitz maps facilitate these kinds of flanks.
I think that's definitely a big part of it, but I think part of that is also the fact that it's 7 versus 7, and so there might have to
Yeah,
be some consideration with that. But in general,
but
you
I
could just
wouldn't
take maps
mind.
like this and just maybe scale it up a little bit so that
I
it's more
wouldn't
friendly
mind
for
if
15 versus 15.
PC were a game. It took some of the DNA that went into map design in Blitz and applied it to PC.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would make
See
things
how
more
that guy can
interesting.
just shoot me from all the way over there?
Yeah, this kind of cross map engagement is not very common in World of Tanks. This almost feels like a team. It's like a battle royale map, except with teams. Like you can look at the mini map, and you would have, if the tank names weren't colored, at sometimes it's not as easy to notice like which spawn the teams even came from. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. What's like the average match length time in Blitz, do you know? Like four or
Like
5 minutes?
4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
Some are even like less than 2 minutes, give or take.
Okay, so Blitz is shorter, but they do have less tanks as well, so I think that making maps all the way like this might be too dramatic of a
See,
change for a lot of WoT players to be on board with right away, but I think there could be
see
some
how
kind
there's a
of
way to escape that situation? How I'm in a crossfire, and now there's a way for me to escape that crossfire.
yeah.
But at the same time, there's also a way for them to push away from me, so that guy doesn't end up dying by my hand.
What about light tanks in this game? Do they have much
Like
influence
things get
with scouting, or
like
do they
things
take
get
more of like a flanking role or something?
they take more of a flanking rule, and they have special like at least the most recent like tanks they have a gimmick to them. Like for instance, the T100 LT
Mm-hmm.
makes you spot it for way longer.
Okay.
Like I think it was something like 20 seconds.
All right. I think that would probably be. I mean, I'm not opposed to something like that, but I mean, that kind of changes the
And
way World Tanks is a
they're
lot.
more of
But
a super fast mediums than anything. There's not much scouting in this.
I see.
There's mines in this, by the way.
I still like the spotting aspect of World of Tanks and trying to outplay the other light tank, and so that's something that I wish would be retained. So I don't think that a full transition to maps completely like this would be great for that. But I do think that there's some kind of medium ground that could be taken where there's more opportunities to make plays and more pathing options, decision making options without completely compromising, set plays that light tanks can make and stuff, or just light tanks having a decent role in general. But they could always adjust it, even if they did make maps more like this, by making light tanks have more powerful guns and, like you said, maybe other gimmicks or something, giving them some more HP.
Mines here plays generally very similar to PC, except there's the corner, the cap corner. It's much more simplified, with mobile game and all of that, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't has the fucking cancer corner at C9,
Yeah.
and the perch, the triangle perch on the north, is not really a perch. It's more of a couple of bushes, and that's it.
Okay. So less all the shit barn players are crying right now if there's a shit barn analog inside your
Fun
game.
fact: the shitburn is in this game, and the shitburn is an autoloader 460 alpha gun.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of gameplay of that. And it still seems to do fine in your game, does it not?
Yeah, it does. It does, but that's more of a Blitz. Blitz has certain countermeasures to things. For instance, they have a consumable, a reusable consumable that you can use on certain tanks, especially in the 4K5, where for a certain duration, all enemy high explosive damage gets cut in half.
Mm.
So it lasts for the default is 15 seconds, and with a piece of equipment, you can extend it to 19 seconds. So let's say you're gonna make a poke, you wanna clip someone. You activate it, you peek, and since you're in a 4K5, the enemy player is gonna be like, "Oh, 4K5, I can HE penny it easily," because in this game also has a particular thing. When you switch ammo, it's instant. Like you can press 1, 2, or 3, and
Oh, I
the
see.
ammo type changes instantaneously. So you can switch to high explosive and pen paper tanks for extra damage. Well,
I,
this plays against that because it baits people into shooting. In this particular situation, the ammo that does half the damage.
are there any other routes up the hill on the on a Blitz or
On this
no?
map, no,
Okay.
no, but you don't get immediately annihilated from either of the sides if you
Is
decide to
I kind of
poke a
want
bit
to
too hard.
see. So the hill still looks pretty fucking powerful, to be honest. Uh, well, it's kind of more in the open. Yeah, I guess it's harder to
The
drive
hill
through, but it still
is
seems powerful.
powerful, but it's less powerful than on
I
PC.
would like to see the areas other than the hill, kind of. I don't know if you have that in this replay or not,
I
but
don't have I don't have I haven't
okay,
played mines since this last session.
that's fine. Because I still think on PC that the the Blitz version is probably not going to work very well. It's just too the battles would end so quickly, I feel like.
Been years. This is another map that I kind of like because it has a city component where you can take a super heavy and fight brawl in a
You know
corner.
what? You know what? This looks like that one recon map, which I was just showing the styles. I mean, looks very similar. The style of houses and stuff.
You guys staring at me because I'm playing a test tank. I only play this game whenever a testing round pops up. Because I get to put my little grain of salt in, hopefully helping Wargaming not release an overpowered mess of a tank. This is something they do for Blitz, and I would like to see it on PC, where there's certain clans that have tester privileges, and they pick a certain roster of players each testing round.
Mm-hmm.
They give you the tank for free for you to play with, and then they give you a deadline. You have to play X amount of battles by that deadline, and then submit feedback. And the tanks get either buffed if they're underperforming or nerfed into the ground if they're extremely overpowered.
How do they determine which clans get that privilege? Is it based
I don't
on what's
I don't
you know?
I don't remember how they did it because the guy that run it left Wargaming like a couple of years ago, and now there's different people running it.
Mm.
But when the guy that did it, he basically asked the top performing clans
Okay,
and
so it's
some
based on
like middle
performance
tiers
then, or some
and
middle
some
tiers as
middle
well.
tiers. Yeah,
Okay, I could see that being people getting upset about that. Definitely,
because
though.
I do remember playing the LT432 in this game.
Mm.
The very first iteration was an absolute monster of a light tank.
I think that's a
It
cool
was
idea having the community test
incredibly
it though.
overpowered. Remember playing it and thinking this thing has to be nerfed into the ground, and it did get nerfed into the ground, and it's still really fucking powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But it was thanks to the tester feedback. the reason why the tank got nerfed into a way that it doesn't automatically destroy the tier 8 matchmaking,
Right.
and it prevents situations like the BC 176 from happening.
That's kind of been
In
a
my
super
opinion.
tester on EU. Yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't know how Wargaming currently does its how they pick their super testers and stuff. Maybe they already have a good system in place. I genuinely don't know, but I do know that like obviously they fucked up with the BZ-176, but I'm not sure if that was because they didn't know it was overpowered, but more likely there's no fucking way they didn't know that thing was overpowered. It has to have been just because of greed. Because anyone with like 2 eyeballs should know that that thing should not have gone into the game the way it was. So either they pick their super testers and they're all shit, like don't know anything about the game, or they're just fucking greedy, or both. I don't know. But I like the idea of having, just picking some set of players who are kind of representative of the average player, maybe. Just picking some average players and then maybe some good players as well to see how a skilled player does it as well, and
Oh, I remember this game.
have them play a certain amount of battles in it, set amount of battles, and give their feedback. But I'm sure they have something similar, but clearly they don't always do their due
Not
diligence
work.
with it.
I think it's because they have a much wider, at least for PC, they have a much wider skill range. So sometimes I'd say useful feedback gets mixed with the clutter,
Yeah, maybe.
and
You
maybe
really think that
discarded.
that PC has a higher skill range than console?
Mm,
Or not console,
not
you know what I mean?
in the testing department.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay. I have no
because
knowledge,
there's a
so
because I know people that are super testers that are like 3K, 3.5K. But I've seen super testers that are like hands on head, headless chicken, like 45% of deep red.
I
But
have
somehow they're super testers.
yeah, I have seen some hilarious
There's
clips of
there's a, there's a, there's one that I saw a Russian guy which uh I think he's a 6 or 7 year super tester and he's like a 43% overall.
yeah, I've seen some as
Like
well. There's like
look at this beautiful flank.
there's a clip of skill for LTU looking at a new tank in battle and then checking his stats afterwards, and it's a super tester and he has like 300 average damage and like a tier 10. It's like, why the fuck is this guy testing our tanks?
In
What?
Blitz, the clans that are allowed for testing are all like 56, 57% and up.
Okay. I think that there should be some, just to be fair, there should be some regular players as well to give input. Not just for the optics of it, because obviously I think if they only gave it to top level clans, that would lead to like literal conspiracy theories and shit. And I think it would just be bad for people's, for those people, kind of
Oh
people's,
no, I agree. I agree.
but I do think that more experienced players or better players are going to give you a more accurate representation of how over the um potential of a tank. They'll give you more accurate feedback about how potentially overpowered the tank can be. Maybe not just in an average player's hands, but in a good player's hands, like a Barask, for example. If you just had 50%ers test it, maybe they wouldn't really capture just how broken it actually is. Unless if you had some, 60% players play it though, like they're just gonna tell you, okay, this thing is too powerful and shouldn't be in the game in its current state. If the Because I don't think there's any 60% player who would play the Barask and think, okay, this thing is fine. I think any 60% player would have told Wargaming this is too powerful and needs to be adjusted. But they didn't get the message, or they just ignored it if they did get the message. I really want to become a super tester, but I have no idea how.
For NA, they don't even they're not accepting any applications from NA in the first place.
Yeah, I
So
kind of
I
figured
don't
it's
think I
impossible at
don't
this
think we're
point.
gonna be super testers anytime soon for NA.
Very sad. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to WoT maps and looking at those, but this has been pretty interesting. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
Yeah.
I'm out.
All right, see you. Yeah, anyway. Let's see, Ghost Town. Mm, you're AFK, okay. We'll be back in 10 minutes, alright. About Corellia. Main problems with Corellia. I think Corellia sucks the most for heavy tanks. And to an extent, medium tanks. But mostly heavy tanks. I don't think it's like the worst map in the world, but I think it could be improved, of course. What would I do to Corellia? I think they should make it so that there's an easier way to just drive up the hill like this and like this, which is in the wide open. Actually, is that a good idea? Because then CSs and stuff and medium tanks might take it right away, and fast mediums, light tanks as well. I think that that might be okay, but they might have to change some things to make it. I don't like the hill being too dominant, you know? I think the real thing that they could do to change this map is maybe just to make the north more of a playground for medium tanks and heavy tanks to fight in. So they would probably have to crush this down a little bit, you know, like in this direction. And probably they would have to remove this position, which sucks because it's a nice farming position, but I think it's too powerful shooting people on the crosshair. And instead maybe breaking this thing in half, or just kind of, yeah, breaking these two rocks in half and putting them like here and here and here and here, and kind of just making this like a area to fight, hold down, and to progress slowly. Maybe kind of like Westfield. Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure, Stricken. It's just too much. There's too much. Like if we were to turn this into a Blitz map, then this entire middle area would just not be here, and it would just be like hills and mounds and stuff, and you would just fight all over the place. But I'm okay with some separation and tank class specialties and stuff having different roles on different parts of the map. But I think if they were to open up this area. And make it so that similar to maybe Westfield. That's what I meant to say. Kind of make it like so there's some hold downs or some mounts here that you can progress. And put some rocks as well. So that there's actually a fight over here. Yeah, I agree for sure. I think that would encourage more people to go north, and there would actually be a fight there. I think the hill in the south. First of all, they need to remove these annoying ass half bushes or whatever they are on this corner here, so that heavies here can't spot heavies here easily without over peeking. That's really annoying. They need to remove that shit on this corner. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Then I think they could potentially maybe add some routes up through like this and like this. Some avenues to go up and get into a spotting bush like here and here. Because right now the light tanks, they have an option here or like here, you know. But they're kind of just gambling with their life and then hoping they outspot the enemy light tank, and then from there they're kind of playing the edge areas. Or right here, and hoping to spot the TDs. But this would give some more progression to the light tanks, I think. And even some medium tanks, if they were to add some extra ways to poke up here. Especially if this area was, these rocks were gone and there was more of a fighting area up here, which is kind of on level ground.
This map is pretty hard to fix, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what to do with this map. It's not as straightforward as other ones. And it's not as destroyed as some others are, I would say. It's just not very fun to play with heavy tanks and medium tanks. Depends on the medium tank, but it kind of depends on the heavy. It
I
depends
would say the
a
biggest
lot,
problem
but
is that you can't reach any of the like important points of the map without losing HP.
yeah, it's kind of like mines in that sense. I don't like that it's a commit or you or don't thing. There's no way to try to battle for it. You just kind of go or you don't. And that's why in the beginning I was suggesting maybe another way up, but I don't think that would really fix it necessarily. In fact, it could make it even worse because like if one team has a CS who goes up and then fast heavy goes up and then you just only have fast heavies, then you're probably gonna get screwed. Maybe this hill area could be adjusted, I don't know, to make it like you shouldn't be poking this corner and then getting shot by tank destroyers, I don't think. I think that's one problem.
I mean, it could be a thing that you make the rocks bigger so you have more cover towards the TDs.
I was also thinking you could maybe make a valley, not valley, but slightly lower elevation ground here and right here, so that when you drive up onto the hill, you don't just get shot by TDs, or just, and then you could even make, there should be a bump here for sure, so that when you fighting other tanks that get here, they're still maybe hold on to each other. And it's not just an all-out brawl, but there's some area to outplay.
What you mean is that this area around here is like
Mm-hmm.
higher than this area, right? Because if
Um,
this area would be lower here, and you still can fight hold on against each other or something, it would be you're safe and you can like once you traded them low, you can just like start pushing without getting shot by TDs camping here or here.
I'm saying that this ground here should be the highest. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the highest. And then there should be, this should be the lowest, the mid level, and then the inner ring should be, not the ring really, but this area in particular should be higher. Just so that it's not like a bowl here and you just drive up and then you're just all stuck on this corner and all stuck on this corner and the only option is to just fight each other. There should be some ability to branch out and get and take
Sounds
crossfires or something.
sounds kind of good. I don't know.
Yeah, it would
Again,
probably
with
be
the
hard to
put like
implement
some
it.
kind of rock here to fight, and I don't know.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to implement, but I think it would be doable. Um, I still think that they should add some kind of way to get onto the hill, like late game or something though, or it might be a problem early game for CSs and stuff. I'm not sure light tanks, but it might be okay for light tanks. Who cares if the light tanks goes up? You can still fight a light tank. But for CSs in particular, it might be a problem, but I think a path here and maybe a path here would be nice, just so after you've lost a hill or something, if you're winning the other side of the map, you can still potentially hold. I don't like that you kind of just have to cower behind a rock here if your team is like winning this side and they're pushing around, like you're just fucked now, I feel like. Doesn't really happen though, often. Usually what happens on this map, I think, is one team wins a hill for free, basically. The other team is hiding behind these rocks. And then what really wins the game, I think, is whose light tank dies, maybe. Or who takes control of mid plus hill. There are various ways to win on this map, though. Sometimes there will be a roll through one of these flanks, but I don't, especially from this side, but I don't find it very common. I don't know.
When you
Corellia.
have those ramps that, like you said, like go up here, then
Mm-hmm.
you will probably not have this anymore. So this also you could also. Hmm.
Well, you could either leave it or you could make it, you could expand this a little bit and make it come out to like here and make it perch you can sit on. I
So
don't know if
maybe I
that's a
could
good
go
thing
with a
though.
light tank without dying instantly, but
Yeah, maybe.
it could also be used different.
I don't know. This map is too tricky. Let's go for an easier map that we can destroy. Lakeville. This one's a fucking easy one. This one can easily be destroyed. This map is not well designed. I get it. For a beta test, I mean, it's a good map, but I've seen the videos of Lakeville in beta tests. It's like pretty similar. There's a good idea in beta, but we can improve upon this shit now. In my opinion, still have the problem. Middle is not really even a play most of the time. It's like one tank can go down maybe. Valley is just a sit there and stare at each other contest. And City is the first you push, you
and
die.
then you have like TD sitting here or here and shooting.
Yeah, and you commit into here, and then this spot just you're not even really in an advantageous position. Really, it's this position. Same thing. You don't really gain anything. You might as well just play here and just wait. It's just a waiting simulator kind of. I think that what they should do on this map is bulldoze this mountain make it into two mountains. Expand the middle road like probably by two times, make it two times as wide. And make it so that there's a way to go through the mid road into the valley and vice versa. Just to make things a little bit more interesting. And so that you always have to consider, what's happening in the valley, if you're going mid road, Or if you're going valley, you have to consider what's happening on the mid road and whether it's better to go through this way or that way, or do they have any forces over here who can come behind and flank you, stuff like that. I think this lake has got to be like cut in at least 2/3, and the city needs to be expanded for sure. And they need to make the city area more playable. I think I'm not entirely sure what they could do to the city area to make it way more interesting to play. What do you think?
I just think that like they need to close up this area a bit so you can get shot from the TDs, so you have a chance to play here somewhere.
Okay, I think that's a good
And
idea.
maybe they could, like, you know how you have a hood on down here?
Yeah,
If it would go to like the top, so the whole thing is like a little bit like that, you know?
so a little bit of a ridge there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Wouldn't make that much sense for a flat town area, but hell, for a map, I think that's a good idea. And I think that they should go with what goes for a map better than what, is in the name of their map or something, or what their map is supposed to look like. It should be more tailored towards,
I mean, it
gameplay.
doesn't have to be like big, like a big hill. It just has to like
Mm-hmm.
just make this area like a little bit higher. Like what's grass here, like around this, you can just make that a little bit higher or something. Like that it's a little bit like a hill, you know?
Well, look at these, or look at this Mannheim change on RU. I guess this is going with their Abbey changes as well. A route through here, interesting. Looks like they changed the south, maybe? Yeah, it looks like they changed the south
Lower
somewhat.
is also changed, I believe.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty interesting change. Actually, Mannheim would be a good map to talk about too. I mean, they're changing it, but the north in particular. North is just sucks. It's very hard to push from either side in most tanks. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. Honestly, I think they could open it up even more. Kind of somewhat remove this mountain a little bit. Make other paths. It would have to be balanced though. The other side would need something to go to actually play the game. Otherwise, the side would be too strong, but
I mean, if you go up this path, it kind of counters where the Skoda, for example, right now is. Like you go up and then probably counters them on the screenshot he sent.
which path goes up
Like
this
on the
path?
screenshot Strigon sent.
Oh, the SCH thing counters where they go on the green team.
Like you go up
Then
here, like, and then you can basically, I think, counter the Skoda, like the position in the corner. But I don't know if that's a good thing because
I see what you mean. That high position counters the Skoda position.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see how that could be. Makes it so the north side. There might be something I'm missing in the screenshot. Maybe it can't do that, but if the west team can just go up there and kill whatever's in the Skoda position for free, that would give a huge advantage to the west. And then the north team would
yeah.
generally
The
just
second
never send
screenshot,
anybody to A2.
second screenshot looks like you would have to commit completely up, and they could counter if you commit up. So
Oh, I see
okay,
now. Okay, I didn't see the second screenshot. Okay, so
it's 100% interesting.
yeah, you have to commit into the open or commit to the next hold down to shoot those guys in the back. Um, I mean, I think it's better than what was there before, that's for sure.
I mean, it still does the same.
I'm still just
Just
thinking though,
normal.
like if I'm spawning north, when am I ever gonna go to A2? Or even if I spawn from the west, I'm not gonna go to A2 either unless I know my team is gonna win this portion. This portion just seems better than A2. A2 doesn't really do anything. Kind of just have to win this corridor. And there's not that much interesting shots from here either.
Just like
I think it's better,
little
but
extra.
I think it's better, but
It doesn't give you anything, but it also like doesn't
did they raise
destroy
A2
the
at
map.
all? Make it taller? If A2 was taller, then maybe, and there was like some safe spots. But that would almost be worse, because then the game you would not be able to push this flank without like an all-out push. Not very easy to progress, it seems like, if they were to do that. Top side is exposed to A4. Okay, so they can shoot it from here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's better than it was. But, you know, the TDs can be shooting into this position. TDs can be shooting into this position. Still doesn't seem that great, really, to me. And what do you get once you get up here? I mean, you get shots on who? Like, from this position, you shoot nothing? I don't know. Like, if you're in the south and you get up here, like, there's nothing to really shoot at.
I sent
think
a
it's-
screenshot of the minimap how they changed Abbey on IO.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Abbey changes.
Like the Abbey changes from just like looking at the minimap look actually kind of good. I've never really played the map, but
I saw a video of some of the map changes, and it looks very nice. And some of it is what I've been advocating for. I was asking them to put a path through there, and like a path through here, but they'd actually put a path through here and here, which I think is probably actually better. I don't know if you
I
still
think that
can
would
go
have
up like
been
this or that, but or through the middle. In my opinion, it denies control of that corner and stalls the Eastern team. Yeah, but it still just feels like a stalemate kind of situation here. You either go or you don't, or you kind of just sit and stare at each other. Doesn't feel like a dynamic map really still that you can play around. So I think it's better, but
that's right.
I don't really agree that it's great. True, yeah. On Abbey, they have ramps to go up into the middle here, and a bridge that connects the two sides, the 9 line in the middle. And these ramps are exposed to like TD spots, I'm pretty sure.
I
Maybe
think so.
maybe not this north one. I'm not. Maybe I think the north one is maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm all for that. Makes it more traversable. You see, you go on the 9 line in your medium tank or light tank, and see that you're losing, and you're losing that flank, and now you can potentially cross into mid. Kind of risky, but at least there should be. I think there's an escape route here, probably. Maybe not. I don't know.
Abbey mid boost was so cool.
Give back heavy mid boosts. Look south 2 line. Like here, this thing. Yeah, I saw that. That's and right here, yeah, those Those I think are great. If you're losing on Abbey 1-2 line, or you see your flank is gonna this flank is fucked, instead of just being trapped there, you can actually escape. And after winning the flank, you don't have to make a long ass rotation. You can go through to the mid, which could speed up games potentially, but I think it
I mean, you still
makes the
have to,
map
you
more
still have to
dynamic.
fight. You still have to fight the tanks first. Like,
Yeah. And plus, since there's more connectivity from the 9 line, if the other assuming you're winning the 1 line, the other team is probably gonna win the 9 line, and then they have the middle. Now you have to push into the middle, and they actually have a way to support the middle with more tanks, and vice versa. It's pretty. I think it's pretty good.
I mean, would probably be a good change for our server too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even gonna talk about Malinovka because honestly, I think it's fine. If I were to make changes, I guess I will talk about it. Changes to Malinovka. I think the main problem is just breaking a north defense if they give up the hill and they just camp. I think there should be some way to break it a little bit easier. I don't know, maybe they can add some kind of low ground here you can sit in, or in low ground here you can sit in after you win the hill. I don't know. That's probably all I would really change. Oh, they can
I
make
mean,
the
the
water
big
line
quick
better, I
difference
guess.
here is that they just have way more like trees and stuff on this side than on this side, and this side is also low ground, and you only have like high ground here,
Mm-hmm.
and here you like completely high ground here, and you also can like shoot everything from here. So pushing into that, just like you die.
Yeah. The other difference, I think, is just the distance between the building or the rock and the foliage. Over here, if you're in a light tank and you're trying to spot them coming off the hill, you have to sit in these bushes. And a heavy tank, if they manage to get down, which is not that, which is pretty easy because you just take the route. It's not too hard on this side either. It is harder, but you have to time it better. But like if you're in a heavy tank and get to this building, you're not close enough to spot the light tank. The light tank is fine, or whatever tank. It could be a medium tank or tank
On
to
the
start
other
with good
side, this
camo.
building just is a way better thing than this rock, because this rock you get like, you rather play forward towards this side, or if you play too far backwards, there's someone sitting here and shooting farms here, you know?
I don't entirely
On this
agree
on this
because
building, I feel like you can sit safe behind it if you go there.
I think this
And
building is safer, but at the same time, your team, if you're getting to this building and your team has them like this, it's sometimes really hard to progress the game from there if you don't have a big advantage already, or if you don't, like, they don't have a light tank and you do. I think that they should move this building maybe. Another way to fix it would be to move. They could add like a low ground right here, just a little dip for heavies or mediums with good turrets to go into to clear at least those first row of bushes of
they
most
could move
tanks.
the building to like here and make this more flat, so you have like
Yeah,
the same terrain, but like this is
yeah,
more flat and this is further back.
that was my second suggestion, is to move the building a little bit closer to the bushes and make some kind of relatively safe pathway. I mean, I still think there should be some risk to getting close to it so that even just light tanks going to the buildings with CVS can spot medium tanks and other tanks with like 30% camo in those close bushes just so they can break this camp. From the other side, I think they could maybe move this rock a little bit to the left and make it a little bit easier for light tanks to spot tanks coming off the hill and maybe
I mean,
widen this out slightly.
if they move the rock towards like here, and they flat this a little bit and put more trees here. So you could sit on the outside here and spot this, and probably fix the issue that you couldn't spot from that you can't spot from that side, but they can still
Yeah.
just like drive into you from this side.
Yeah.
If you like have a good push here, you can still just run from this side. It's like they drive into you and they're like instantly in front of you.
And I think the other thing they could do is they could add. They should probably honestly just make this a solid line of bushes and shift it slightly more south. Or maybe add like one gap in the bushes. Instead of making it kind of random as to there's like a couple gaps. There's like a gap here, and then a gap here, I think. And then this area is, I think there's like a sketchy area on here where it's kind of, there's like a small gap from like here
There's
to
a
here or
little
something.
gap. There's a little gap somewhere.
I think they should just make it more friendly to the people and make this section at least just a straight line. And I think they should shift it slightly southwards to make it more fair for each side. Light tanks. I feel like light tanks from the south side
Yeah,
are
it's really,
a
like,
little bit
somewhere here.
worse. Light tanks usually end up playing in this area instead. In the late game, at least. Like, you can go to these initial bushes. You can try to contest this if you're really aggressive. Maybe in an EBR if you think you're gonna cuck their EBR somehow and then get safe. Or if you're just really confident that you're gonna survive for some reason.
I don't know if I would like really try to play this side because like this bush line is just way too far away, and their light is like
I've tried it sometimes,
faster
but
here.
usually with the expectation that if I get spotted, I'm gonna have to bail into here, and it's usually if I'm like top tier, and if I'm in like what tank am I thinking of? 13105 or something, and they have like a Sheridan or something. I don't know. It is very risky to play this side, and I wouldn't really advise it. If I was to give general advice, I would say don't play these bush lines from the south. It's way too risky. Sometimes I will, but if they moved it
Well,
more
I feel
south,
like-
then it would be at least a little bit more possible.
Yeah.
Or even I was almost thinking add a couple sporadic bushes in here. That wouldn't really change anything though. They do need to shift this whole thing south so that the light tanks
I mean, it
need
would
to
still
commit
be,
further to spot you.
it would be kind of unfair compared to this because this is a whole bush line, and then you have like some bushes that you can easily blind instead of like a whole bush line.
Yeah. I mean, I was almost thinking adding two bush lines, but then at that point, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. It's so much to think through. But I think the simple solution is just to move the whole bush line 10 or 15 meters more south. That might change the balance of the map a little bit. I think they could just remove this water and make it... It'd be too easy to push with no water, though. I7s would go ham. So I think they do need the water. I mean, you could add a hill over here, but then light tanks can't do that thing. Is that a good thing though? I mean, maybe. Maybe light tanks. Maybe that's
It would
too
speed
powerful.
up this side way too much. I feel like because like just imagine triple I7 platoon pushing that side. Like it's already
I'm saying like if they have a hill and then like a cliff face or something, like a hill, so you pull up to the hill and then there's like a cliff face right there or something. Not something that the I7s could use to their advantage.
I'm just imagining what if you make this kind of area to a lake and have like the outside of the map you can cross towards here. That would be kind of interesting. But also, whichever team has this position has like the advantage over this side.
That would be interesting, but I don't think they should do it just for the simple fact that I think Malinovka is it's too much to risk in changing Malinovka that much. Because it's already, in my opinion, a fine enough map. And I could
Yeah, it's
change
pretty
too
good.
much. Like heavies trying to I don't like any ideas where I don't think heavies would push that if there's like no cover, but even completely changing the way light tanks have to play the map. I just think that they should move the bush line as the main thing. more south. Like, I do think that there are some good ideas that could be had down here for sure. It's just, I think the most conservative approach would just be to move the bush line slightly. But yeah.
Wait, you mean removing this bush line?
No, not removing it. Did I say removing it?
Yeah.
I meant moving it. Just like
I
shifting it to
understand
the
removing
south.
it. I was like, huh?
No, that would be crazy. Mines. I think they either need to radically change mines or they should make it a tier 8 in lower map and also make changes to it. Because I think this whole idea,
I just think that the onset changes would be good for the map in general.
I think it would be, but I still have problems with the map. I just think the hill is too powerful and there's too much incentive to just all in or not all in.
I mean, they could just add like ramps over here and here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Radical changes. That's the only way I think they could make this map like viable, is if they added ramps on the east side of the hill
But
somewhere.
it still needs to be somewhat stronger to go like that from like timing wise than going the normal, like the easy route. So make this entry more steep a little bit, you know.
Yeah, make this more entrance more exposed a little bit and harder to access. I feel like the east team would have a pretty easy time of getting up if they made it here, and if they would probably have to change this area.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I could just make this a whole thing like a castle, you know.
yeah, they could.
So this is blocked off, and they can just drive around and counter this, or you cannot drive around and just counter them going up.
Yeah, you either give both teams access, or you make it so that they have to fight, and then the team that wins gets access. And I prefer the second option, to be honest. I think. And I think that in general, the north side just has better positions to shoot off of the hill, and they need to be either nerfed slightly, or the south side needs better options. I think the south side should get slightly better cover on the hill when peeking, but I don't like games where
This side on the hill is way stronger than this, no? Yeah.
absolutely this
'Cause
side
you
is
can be
way
here,
harder to
you
get
can
damage
be,
off the
you
hill.
get shot by here, you get shot by here, you can get shot by here.
This
Someone
posi
can
this
sit somewhere here.
position in particular is, I think, just bad. They need to nerf that heavily or something.
I mean, this position won't be there if there's a ramp, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they could do that as an option. Because this position, just this whole area is just, you
It's
can't play
useless.
there. You try that from the other side to try to come here and shoot them in the
Get
back.
countered,
You're
like
gonna
someone
get
sitting
count.
here.
There's just there's too many angles, and it's hard to stay safe from everything. And they can turn around and shoot you, and then if you back up, then you get shot, and Artie is shooting you. This side is already safe, and there's the only position that really counters it is like out here.
What do you think would happen if they like raise the height of the hill a bit? So you can't sit with the TD here and counter the hill, like completely. Like higher the height of the hill on this side. How high it is.
Maybe.
Because here it's also higher than the inside here.
I think I see what you mean. So this side is higher, so the T's have a harder shot. You can kind of back
Yeah.
up into cover, this side not. So they
Yeah.
raise the side a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might help. I think they need to remove some of the remove. They should probably expand this a little bit, but then remove some of the bushes so that it's obvious where you're going to be getting shot from. Maybe. They gotta be careful. If they expand it too far this way, then they'll have shots into the city, which I don't really like. I
mean,
think.
I just imagine that the map would be way more enjoyable if you have ramp here, ramp here, ramp here, ramp here.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
can
I like
you can fight the middle better.
I like the idea of having ramps here like Onslaught, but I think the Onslaught ramps are a little bit too much. I think the ramps could be designed better. I think the ramps should be like made out of medium terrain, just grass, and then there should be some like bushes or something here that light tanks maybe could play.
Yeah, something that you can play on the outside here and spot this area.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there should
I
be
think
a
it's good.
mirrored position. There should be another bush here. This bush isn't gonna spot much though, so I kind of want a bush like I'm just thinking back to this boost where you would go like this and play on the outside here and spot the cross. I like that. They don't really have that anymore because they added this hole down here on the cross.
Can you just have like you have this area where you drive up here like the ramps, and then you just have a mid area here where you have
With
like
just
bush
one row of
with,
bushes or something?
with you have like bushes on the side.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. You could even make it so that the bushes are close enough that you can CVS some tanks through here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, definitely the Onslaught maps could change for, or could help some of the maps like Pilsen, for example. And then I don't know, this doesn't really feel like a heavy fight over here. Mostly because of this position, I think, kind of ruins it, but also I think they could add a building here or and then make this area here more of a heavy fighting area rather than just destructibles and bushes and then buildings. They can make some hold downs and stuff, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. They need to close up this a little bit so you can actually like cross and play somewhere in the city here.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you just get farmed by the TD, same from this side. Like if someone sits here.
Mountain
Oh,
Pass.
that is a funny map.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
I have mixed feelings. It's hard for me to remember what this flank was like before Mountain Pass. I like most of the changes to this flank, but light tanks, here's some facts. This is probably the worst light tank map in the game, first of all. Completely destroyed. Used to come here and actually get some spawning damage. The other side wasn't much better, but you could still do something. Light tanks on this map
Now you
now
got
are just
nothing.
there's nothing you can do.
Or like mediums with no armor. It's kinda not good.
For sure. Um it's gonna be hard to change this map so that light tanks have a role again. I don't really see how to do it. Except to I don't know, this just isn't a light tank friendly map unless they revert all the changes. Or make it so that the mid somehow gets bled on the cross, which a lot of people aren't going to be happy about, understandably, I guess. So, but I mean, if they're fine, if we just take light tanks out of the equation, there are still some ways I think this map can be improved.
I mean, as I said before, like ramps here and like here would be
Yeah,
good
I,
change
I
because
said,
you don't have to drive the whole way around if there's nobody here. You can just come and go fight.
mm-hmm. That's the exact same thing that I've been saying. Definitely here there should be a ramp.
The
Definitely
other
somewhere
problem,
here there
the
should be
other
a ramp.
problem is that this map just has all of this area that nobody can play.
Yeah, that's probably a big part of why light tanks are just useless on this map. It's just a bunch of corridors. Hmm. What if they just... Hmm. Yeah, I don't
I
really
feel like
know,
they
to be
could
honest.
change something about, for example, this hill, for example. So this is just like a blob of useless area on the map. I don't know. And
Yeah.
if you would do something with it, you could maybe even counter the fact that everyone is sitting here in the base and doing nothing till endgame and just sits there. It's kind of funny when you do a bit of platoon, but it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah. Strigon says this map was fine, and the only issues it had was the south crossing was much more exposed than the north crossing, and Ice Road had to cross through a gap susceptible to crossfire without much cover.
If they removed those changes here, what they made towards the lights, they could just
Yeah.
like cut off this a little bit, or and cut off this a little bit, and make like a lower area here where you can cross, like a little bit lower, same as was here before.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. I think they could probably revert most of the changes here and here without and make it more viable for light tanks without destroying everything. And they could still somehow offer a path where you're most likely not going to get bled unless you're in like a mouse for these other guys. And if the ice road is improved and the bridge is improved, then you know that's alternative places those kind of tanks can go. E100 mouse, Type 5,
Like,
Jagdpanzer.
if you cut this off like this and just have
Mm-hmm.
this mountain cut off a little bit like this, you know,
Yeah.
so it's already like more area that you can drive somewhere. So
They
that's
could
already okay.
they
And if
could
you
make
do
this
the same,
area and this area boggy ground, so you're like really slow crossing through it as well,
yeah.
just to incentivize people taking the fast route, so light tanks still get something.
And they could do what they did to here. Like they could even like expand this area a little bit, so you can maybe even drive on like from this side onto it, and have like a little high ground here. They
I
can just
think,
give
yeah,
it like a little high ground on this side too or something, and lower this hill in general.
I think that's okay, but then it will, if this area is opened up and this area is opened up, then this hill and this hill will become much more powerful. So they need a way to somehow counter that, maybe by lowering those hills a little bit,
Yeah.
and then possibly this ramp and this ramp. This ramp. They would need to add a ramp here, I guess, and maybe a
They would
ramp
also
here.
have a ramp here, so people can't camp up here anymore like the whole
Yeah,
game.
then you
And
get beneath them, and
it's
then
the
they're
same for here.
they're in a tough position.
If they lower this terrain, the ramp would not be like something hard to add.
For sure, yeah. I think that would be the solution. I like those ideas. Mountain Pass needs to be removed from the pool entirely. I can't blame you for that. I'm okay with it. I mean, I really, it's just god awful for Vickers and for the light tanks. It truly
I mean,
is,
this
but
map can also, like, if you do
and
those
it's
changes, it can also be still a low tier map. Like, it doesn't have to be tier 10. Because
yeah.
at the end, it's really small if you see
I
it like
think
that.
if they made all those changes that you just listed, I think it would still be okay. Reverting these changes, widening this, making it boggy ground, and then so lights can get some damage on the people who are going fast route, and maybe some arty damage on the people going slow route, or like top of the like cupola shots on those guys, and then making it so that there's a defensive location here on the backside of this, and maybe I don't know exactly where this one would be because middle can shoot this, so this portion might be a little bit harder. Might have to redesign this a little bit. Not exactly sure where this team would get a spot to play defensively.
I mean, if you would have something here that is like high, it would be kind of busted because you sit up here, hold down, and when they come in, you just completely farm them. But the same would
Yeah,
this position do.
maybe you just have to turn this position, like cut it like,
Maybe just make this a like
mm,
actual position instead of like having a
okay, yeah,
hill that you can play.
yeah, cut it like this, so this portion is like high, a plateau kind of, and then maybe add
Yeah.
a rock or two here so that you can't get shot all the time from this, and then you play here and cover, and then that TDs have a line onto you to cover you as they push around a little bit. There should be some advancement opportunities, but just gotta be careful about that. And then lower
They
this
can still
ridge,
be covered
lower
from
this
this
ridge.
side. So
True.
because this is not here anymore, you can cut off this a little bit. So they have to like drive around and to kill you.
Right,
mean,
so it might
that
be
would
too
be- that
powerful,
would
a
be-
little bit too
That would
powerful.
be like a really powerful position.
Yeah. And then adding the ramps here, I think, to get behind. I mean, this position would just fuck behind, and then this position would, unless this rock might be in the way, you might have to. I guess this position might become too powerful. It's tricky, but
They come up here.
they come up here, and you're pushing through the south. They're playing on the backside. This position can shoot it, maybe. That might be too powerful. I don't know.
You can maybe make this rock a little bigger so it counters this.
Yeah, you
So
might
you
have
don't
to
get
do that.
completely farmed on this side.
Add
So
a,
this guy has to commit. If he
add a
commits,
rock
then
here. Add a rock here, and you drive around this way in the rock, or in this way. Or like, or
Yeah.
normal ground, rough ground, and solid ground. Something like that. With a rock there. Just to balance it out. Yeah, this map would have to see a lot of changes in order to, I think, to make it pretty good, but I think it's doable. Yeah, lowering these base ridges so they're not super OP, and those ramps help to, if you win the
I
ice
just
row,
wish
then
that
you can
there
get
was a
underneath.
possibility to do something with all of those hits. Like, what if
Yeah,
we like lower this hill and just make like an option that you can go up here and fight up here somewhere from both sides. But this side would be much slower than this side because this side is already higher than this side. So you would have to like have this as like an actual normal ground like here, and then go down on both sides so you fight in the here.
yeah. I definitely
But that
think
would
this is a map that there's so much that they could do, as opposed to something like Ghost Town where it's, I feel like, oh, I'm back. My headset died. That's how long we've been talking about this shit.
it's pretty late. 6 a.m.
Yeah, it is. I think Overlord is pretty broken. Oops, I just fucked everything. Overlord. One of my most disliked maps.
It's just
Yeah, I agree,
I
Strigan.
don't like that the beach is like so low.
Yeah, I agree. Just way too out of the fight. Takes way too long to get back into the fight.
Like it makes
It's
no
such a
sense to
huge
go to the
commitment
beach
as
ever.
well. Yeah,
And once you push through, if someone is like here or placed somewhere like here, it just like counters everything that you do on the bottom.
for sure. I think, mm, for one, they need to make going up and down the beach more accessible. I don't know
Yeah.
how they could do that, really. Maybe a winding road, like,
I
or
mean,
something.
if they would higher the beach like a little bit,
Yeah, that too.
so it's more flat, then they could also just
Yeah,
we say it
that's
on every map, but like they could add like a little ramp or something.
Yeah,
But
that's
maybe
part of
to
the
make it possible, make it possible for you to go down on the middle of the beach, you know?
yeah. Strigan is
So you don't.
saying it's hard to change the beach of this map without, it's Normandy. It's hard to, change the theme, and I can see that definitely is a
Yeah,
problem, but I don't really know what to do about that.
that's what it is.
But I don't, if it's not gonna work, then they should remove it. I mean, or make it only in special modes or something, or training rooms. If it isn't a good random battles map, then and they aren't willing to change it based because of historical reasons or something, then it just shouldn't be in the queue. But if they were willing to change it, yeah, they definitely need to make the beach more accessible and less of a time waster to go all the way down and stuff somehow. Whether that be by changing elevation or creating more
That's how
routes,
they need to
or
balance.
both.
What they need to balance more is that this side has a way better hold on to play here against those people than this side, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. I think in general, the height differential on this map makes it hard. This is kind of a special case where you can play here, but this side, it's pretty rare where you're able to play out here. I mean, you can sometimes, but I mean, I haven't experimented too much with it, but the shots down here I don't think are as good either. You can't shoot into their back as easy.
Yeah. I mean, you get shots from here onto them when they reach here, but from here you can like completely shoot this whole angle if you're like playing from this side.
Yeah, I guess I confused myself a little bit. Yeah, you have to. I guess from this side though, you don't have to wait for them to like push around. You can shoot them on this corner,
Yeah.
even when they're still there. I just got some credits. Let's go. Time to get my free daily gift. See what I get
Free
this
daily
time.
gift.
You never heard of it? It's right here.
Yeah, I have it too.
Okay,
But
cool.
I almost never take it because I forget
I'll
about
take
it.
my 10K credits or whatever. Look at that, 20K right there, and let's go. Free. Do I think patch is in 2 days or later? What did you say? Tuesday night or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the third evening. This map. Where do I even start? I don't know, to be honest. I think the zero line is too hard to push. Not
It's
enough
just
progression.
it's just really annoying that you can't really make progression without getting shot by TDs playing back here. Same as like someone playing back here counters like everything you push on this side.
Yeah. I think they need to add some, like, they should remove this hill and make it flat ground. Remove these hills and make some gaps in between here that are flat ground that you can push through or something. And then
Yeah.
add more
This
areas
needs
for advancement.
yeah.
And I think,
I
to
mean
be honest, a lot of this space is should be more. There should be like half a square added over here or something.
probably yeah. Because nobody really plays this outside of someone that has no clue where else you could play in a TD.
Yeah.
And there's way better positions to play like in the area up here to when you're in a TD. Nobody in the heavy will ever play on the beach here, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even like to talk about this map, honestly. I fucking hate this map. I just don't even know what to do, really.
I just feel like it needs like need to work on the height, how far down the map goes.
Yeah. Just don't really feel like I'm fighting anybody usually. I'm kind of just there. I don't know. Paris. I think this flank needs an overhaul for sure.
Yeah.
They need to make it more medium friendly. Where do I rank Siegfried in my video? That's a good question. I would guess probably B or C tier. I'll check real quick. I'm kind of curious myself now. Wait. Probably C tier. We'll see. Siegfried. Where is it? Because I know I would not have. My duties do not change if the field is poorly
It's that
designed.
bad. It's that bad.
Okay, so it is C tier. Where is it?
The last one.
Last one. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe that, because the field is poorly designed and the city is not very playable either. Which, I mean, you would think would put it into the dog shit or unplayable tier, but the maps in general are just pretty fucking bad, so it ended up in the middle.
I feel like Siegfried is a good map if you have attack defense on it, like Assault.
Yeah, I
But
still think that they kind of cucked Assault by changing the spawns, though. The spawns, I think, are worse now. Made the map
yeah,
worse. It's like, I still prefer it over other maps for Assault, just because it can farm more and it's maybe a little more interesting, but it's still just not many options, really. And RD's a problem if even if you spawn on defense, which is the preferred spawn, I think, usually.
yeah, like I'd rather play the inside of the ridges instead of the outside, you know.
Yeah. Let's see, let's look at some good maps and see what's good about them, maybe. I already did Malinovka. I don't know if I would put Himmelsdorf. I just feel so lukewarm about all these maps now. Like all of them. Just don't love any of these maps really. If I had to pick what my favorite map is now, I would probably move Studs up to good now. Maybe. I mean, this was a long time ago. I think the maps are changed a little bit.
I think
Still has
Hevitz could
problems
also
for sure
like
though.
get the change it has now for onslaught. Like
Yeah.
for onslaught, it has like all the cards on the 1-2 line and stuff, so you can move up better.
Yeah, I
And
haven't.
different buildings on the one line.
Yeah, I think that's what I mentioned in my video about Himmelsdorf is if anything I would say it's a pretty good map, but if I would improve anything it would be the one line.
The one line has been the same thing for like ages.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I would change something on the 1-2. It's not easy to progress on the 1-2 really, unless you're doing a triple fast heavy platoon or something.
Yeah. The changes for the hill in general are pretty good over what they did to the hill is pretty good
Yeah, I
compared to
do.
what was before.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, church again. Uh, dog shit of the dog shit maps. What would I put as a least as a worst map? Well, I think I would put I put Siegfried or Ruinberg pretty low. I wonder if I think there were map changes since then on Siegfried and the city. I'm not sure if those were implemented or the mid road as well. Yeah, I think I would move Siegfried or Ruinberg up now. I don't think I would call it a dog shit map now. Some of these maps have been removed.
I think if you take the random events, how the map looks when the random events happen, on Ruinberg as a normal Ruinberg, the map would be more playable.
Definitely, I agree with that. If there weren't like weird invisible walls and shit, for sure.
Yeah, or you don't get hitboxes on enemies because like something got destroyed in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the city is better for sure in the destroyed version. I think Safe Haven is just they should just remove that as a event map. I don't really see what the
There's
fucking
no
event
point of the
adds.
event
It just
happening.
makes the map worse. There's like why? Just remove that shit. Shouldn't even that map sucks anyway. I hate that map. It's usually one of my bans. Worst map right now in the game. I'm thinking, okay, Empire's Border is a contender.
I feel like
Airfield.
Empire's Border needs a complete rework of the lower side of it.
Yeah,
Because
I
one side is just way stronger than the other.
Pearl River is definitely one of my most hated maps. Um, I think my most hated map is probably Pearl River right now. I think that's my most hated map. Maybe Empire's Border though.
Mine is probably Airfield.
Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah, honestly, it might. I don't know. I kind of forgot about that one. Yeah, maybe that one too. I think it's one of those three. Airfield is, and I think the hatred for Airfield is more universal than the hatred for Pearl River and stuff. They are changing that one significantly, so I don't know exactly whether it's good or bad changes. I haven't really. I saw that they are changing it and kind of saw screenshots, but I didn't see that. Like they're changing the south. It's completely different, so I don't know exactly what to think of it yet.
I just feel like they should move the A line out of the like map.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just the useless part. Just like make the map a little bit bigger to the lower part and then
For sure. They could take.
also light tank positions on this map. Like you have those bushes on the B line, for example.
Mhm.
But once you're there and there's someone that like looks at you, you cannot leave anymore. It's like so bad. I don't know.
Yeah, and you don't really spot anything usually. Occasionally, I'll
Yeah, you don't
this
get spot
this
damage
like
either.
this position. Sometimes if there's a 4K there, I'll spot them. You can shoot people like through this knock trees. This position is
Yeah.
okay, but you can do the same thing in a fast medium. So I don't know. Definitely not a great map for light tanks. Very uninteresting as well. I'm gonna wait on Airfield though, because they're gonna change that anyway. So Empire's Border. This map is way too disjointed in my opinion. And the flanks don't interact like at all. This is impossible to push from the north. All this shit is
This
useless.
is just useless. Nobody plays here ever. Some people
Yeah.
go up here. I mean, this could just be. You could maybe move the map together, like remove this part and move this down and make it the low tier map. But I don't see
If
how you're gonna fix this map in for high tier.
I think that if they did that, it would make the map maybe better, but you would still run into problems where people are just gonna go like this, like pretending it's that, and then just cap you out for one. So I think they should maybe move the bases almost. Move the bases here and here or something. and then
Could work.
and then scrunch it might help. But
And this area has to be reworked down here. Like,
yeah, I almost
it's
think
not
they should
fair.
like remove half of this mountain or something and
It's not
reduce the
fair. You can
elevation of
come
this or
here
something.
and farm this, but you cannot
Yeah.
just push here or somewhere to farm this. Like,
Yeah, they need to maybe open this up and open this up and just make this like one, make this more of like a smaller thing so that this is actually pushable from both sides and that the top side isn't just so much more dominant over to the bottom. Raise the elevation down here, I don't know. Light tanks still feel pretty useless on this map as well, so that's why I'm not a huge fan of just scrunching it only. Because light
yeah,
tanks, I mean, they don't really do shit anyways, even when it's not scrunched. But when they're scrunched, I'm worried we're gonna run into a mountain pass situation where there's just no place for them to go at all.
the thing is, if we change something here, that like TDs can go faster here, or like faster to somewhere here to shoot this angle, like the crossing, and give them like an opportunity with like bushes in the middle here to spot this crossing. It's just like mountain pass. Nobody will cross this ever. They will all just go like this to this side because nobody
Yeah,
can shoot them in the beginning of the game.
something needs to be done about just how closed off this map is, though. It's just too much corridor. It needs to be more open somehow. Maybe they should just scrap all these fucking maps that have giant mountains and huge elevation changes. And just go to. I wonder if there's a strat sketch of. There probably isn't a strat sketch of any of these other maps that were recon maps or something.
No,
That
I
was.
think those never existed in Spreadsheet.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My option if they would like put this part towards like the middle here and just like a small area to play here, that would be like a heavy tank map. And lights would be useless. So it would be low armor TDs. It's kinda hard.
Yeah. Maybe they need to redesign the light tank class altogether. I mean, to be fair, if you look through all these maps, light tanks are only really useful on maybe a quarter of them. Like on those other 3/4 of the maps, mediums are just probably strictly superior in almost every situation. Maybe light tanks just weren't meant to be. I don't know. Maybe they need to redesign the class, give them more health and buff their guns or something. Make them a little bit more medium tank like. And then redesign the maps so that light tanks aren't taken into account as often. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I think I remember. Do you remember this, Nicholas, where this whole area was just like a whole area you fought in? There's like a screenshot of that going around, I think. I think that's probably where my ideas about the South kind of were influenced by or something.
I mean, I have seen screenshots where this whole area was like changed, and it was like some big ass hill down here where you fight.
Yeah, yeah. I think that this if they didn't change elevation too much, then the south area would become kind of maybe useless too much. Need to be more gradual slope.
I just feel like that you would need the same chances for like they need to change this so you can. I mean, the distance from the cap is like the spawn needs to be moved to like here or something. Because I feel like
Yeah, that would help too.
you would be way slower here than you are from this side.
That's true.
So if they kind of give the same rocks and shit to this side, so you can play here and counter this, same as the people can counter this,
Mm-hmm.
it will already help, you know.
Yeah, this is so unbalanced. No one even bothers going up here anymore because it's just suicide.
And this side is also just better because if people will go here and play here, you can also just drop here behind the corners. Here you
Yeah.
can drop behind the corner, like you
I
just
was
stay
almost
back
thinking
here.
they could add a position here that you could drive into, but I don't know exactly how that would affect things. It might be too hard to push out, and then it turns into a stalemate, which I mean, I guess might be better. I don't know.
You could also just add another way through somewhere here. Would give this side like an advantage over this side, I feel like.
Yeah,
But in
that might be a decent idea.
but in general, this side just this hill is just way better designed than this one because this one blocks off like everything. It blocks off that you can go fast to this,
Mm-hmm.
and it also like blocks off everything else because it's like how it's shaped. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they should open this up quite a lot as well if they were to keep it the same.
What do you think about opening up this so you can?
Mm,
So if nobody is down here, you can just come up and fight here. So you can maybe come in from this and this, but
I
I guess
think
organizing
I
that
don't
a bit
know.
random would be hard.
I feel like most people would still fight for the top. It would depend on like the slope of it and whether there's like a little bit of raised area at the bottom that you can sit on. I'm not sure. For gun elevation, it's hard to say. I think it would depend on the specifics. It's another map that I just don't like in part because light tanks just can't do shit on it as well. I think the light tank problem is going to be the hardest thing to fix on a lot of these maps. On
Yeah,
a lot of these
there's
maps,
just
light
no
tanks just
place for lighting
don't,
here.
they just don't have any role on these maps. A lot of them,
And
they're
then
pretty much
matchmaking on
useless.
top, where you have like 2, 3, 4 light tanks in one game, then you have like 4 useless light tanks in that map.
Yeah, it's tough. Pearl River. You found the map? Can you link it? I think there needs to be some kind of light tank. This area needs to become useful for light tanks. Maybe they can add a hill here or something. I don't know. Light tanks can drive onto and get at least some kind of spotting angles. I don't know. And make it so maybe you can drive up to a TD perch here or a TD perch here and shoot. I don't know. And this area needs to become more. These should just be ramps or something instead of boosts.
Yeah, like
And
the boosts don't really exist anymore because they got changed.
I think they should maybe cut part of this mountain off or make a tunnel through it or both. I don't know if the tunnel is necessary, but they should at least expand this. It's just people come
They
here
could,
and shoot you coming
they could
in.
just
It
make
could,
this a little bit flat here, so
yeah.
you have a better angle to drive up. This is already kind of easy to drive up, but you could also just make a ramp here so you can drive up here.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you're up here, you can just drive up here. This would be a little bit faster, I think. We kind of should have the ramp maybe here, so it's
Yeah.
kind of fair. And what could be an interesting part is like having something like a ramp here, so you can drive into the middle. So
Yeah, I
this
agree.
becomes actually like a fighting area
Yeah,
instead of you sitting here and staring at each other for like 5 minutes.
I agree. I don't like this problem where it's you either go or you don't. I don't like that at all.
It's like mines, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And putting some TD perches here and here would kind of offload the incentive as well to just YOLO up here to get coverage on the south.
I mean, you could just have what we said like mines, where you have like those ramps, but you have them as like a little bit bigger, and they go like a little bit higher towards this side,
Yeah.
where you would have like a bush or something here that you can shoot this. So you have like can I have like some? Do you have like those trees here, like on the field down here?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just have like a couple other things like trees or something here where lights can sit and spot the crossings here. And this crossing would be, you could punish this crossing more than this one, so you would have to light this area up a bit so you can shoot it better. Because otherwise it's not fair, because this one you can punish way harder.
Man, these balancing things, it's pretty fucking tricky. I almost think it would actually be easier just to rebalance light tanks and then make all the maps kind of Blitz style, arena style, or something similar. It would change the game so much though that they would never do that. This screenshot, this is not the screenshot I've ever seen before. What the heck is
Really
this?
interesting.
I don't even know where the spawns are. Looks like a baseball field. I don't know about that. I haven't seen this before. I was thinking of Empire's Border, but proposed Minsk rework does kind of look like Minsky, but I don't know. Doesn't, it's quite a different layout. Just the theme is the same.
Just, and this side of the map could also like get maybe a little rework, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ever played the field, if you come here and like you can just come around here and they cannot drive in anyway, you just die if they drive in. And it's
To be
way
honest,
easier
I
to
almost
push
never
through
even
it.
play over here, so I don't even know what's going on over here. I just know, for the most part, I
It's
just
just
know.
it's just an awkward situation over here.
Yeah.
And I also I mainly know that because I have played Clan Wars on this map and the campaign, like maneuvers.
And then this choke point here needs to be fixed for sure.
This is
Coming
not
here
good.
and just shooting it.
You're faster here, come here to shoot this because I always have to like drive this bridge and then rear. It's like three shots here.
Yeah. Maybe they could add like a zigzag road here or something so that you can go up the slow way. I don't know. They'd have to make it
I mean,
super pretty
they could,
zigzaggy to make it.
instead of
Could just
adding
add it
a
on
ramp
both
here,
sides, I
they
guess.
could just add a ramp here. So they add a ramp here and then they have one here.
Yeah.
So you can drive up the ramp and decide you go this way or you come towards the middle and help your team to fight the middle here.
Mm-hmm. I also think they should probably break this thing in two
I think so.
and maybe lower this slightly or raise this slightly so that maybe there's some interaction between the two, but it would have to be a small, I don't know. This fight up here is just kind of fucking boring in my opinion.
Yeah. But I feel like more people would go towards the middle, for example, and this could be an interesting fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you have all those angles here, like they can come up here, and maybe you make it possible for them to drive up here or something. Because from here, that would be kind of broken because you come up here and you can go here, play hold down against whatever's up here, and you can also come around like this. And from the other side, you only have like going low like this and coming like this. So they would have to make this like something.
Hold on or something.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of, yeah.
That would be kind of weird.
Because winning the
Like
top wouldn't necessarily really get you anything because this position counters that, this position counters that. Like, there's not many. It'd be more just like a transition area. I don't know.
I just think it would be interesting.
Yeah, they could add a building or something or some hold downs or a fountain.
They could also cut off some from this mountain, like you said before. Just cut off some and make more area here.
Mm-hmm.
And also make this one a little bit less because like it's using this area here.
I do think that Westfield might be my favorite map. No, I think so. Just if I had to pick, if you told me I'm gonna queue up in any random tank, what map would I want it to be? Probably Westfield. Because I think it's good.
Unless you play like a super heavy tank, this
Yeah,
map
that's
is like
true.
good. Like
Yeah.
it's actually not bad. Outside of that the D purchase could be a little bit lower, something that you can peek better. Should not be able to sit here and just shoot down this whole way here.
Yeah, I think they could maybe make it, at the very least, make it so that the bushes are more obvious which ones they're in, and then I'm okay for the most part with TD spots because I understand TDs have to play too, but like I think they could be nerfed slightly probably. I mean,
That's the only thing I have
TD,
about this
TDs have other options on this map as well. They can come here from this side is fine. And most TDs, unless you're in like a YAG, but a YAG I don't think can play up here anyways. I don't know, I haven't played TDs enough to know how safe it is to play in some TDs in these spots. Because I know there's some gun depression issues. And you need to use the bushes properly to be able to double bush and stuff. There's a video. Oh yeah, here it is. This is it.
I mean,
See what they
looks
did on
kinda
this map.
cool.
Yeah, this does. Let's peep this.
Wait, get the map change or change in the beginning.
Oh. Okay.
Like this gonna transfer.
Ooh, they made this whole area playable as well. Okay.
I mean, it's a complete map change. It's like
Yeah. I like how much more open they made it, that's for sure.
it probably also gives like light tanks a chance to play the game
Yeah, definitely.
because it looks pretty
Oh,
green up there.
I like this, looks good to me. This area, fighting here, obviously these positions are gonna be the best. But I mean, you can with light tanks, you can play some of these areas maybe and get some spots towards the mid and try to
Like on
outspot
the outside,
other.
like you put down maybe you can find a good tree and now you get like spot on the crossing.
Yeah,
Here in the EBR, you don't just have to drive into the middle. You can just do a quick run on top and spot the
yeah.
crossing.
And there's still some bushes up here where the mediums are fighting that you can use even if you're in a light tank if you want to do damage as well. Let's look at this angle. Yeah, I could see this. I mean, the middle road looks probably quite a bit more dangerous, but they do have some rocks to stay safe at. But it's anybody going up through here or through here, it's gonna be fucking blasted by these positions and up here. So middle, I think, might need almost more protection than it has in this picture, but maybe this, I don't know.
There's
Overall, I
new
like it
EBR
more.
race results.
EBR race
Apparently
results?
Bobcat got banned and John JM lost points because of grieving people. So December and Dragon Water qualified.
Easy. I'm kind of. So Bobcat is another rigged loss.
Yeah.
Makes my tummy warm. See that?
Apparently, Bobcat said some mini things to Chase in the voice chat in game during the race.
Sounds typical of him.
I personally have no problem with Bobcat, but there's no need to do that on like a community event like that.
Yeah. These TD spots are kind of crazy, bro. Okay. This might be too open, to be honest.
That is pretty open.
I think this is too open. Heavy tanks? How are you supposed to progress when they have these TD spots at number 2 and number 7? I think it's like, unless you take the inside corner, you're like, all this shit is gonna be open field. That TD spot seems kind of broken. Like, only, and slow heavies might even have trouble getting into this area. I'm not sure.
I think if they add things like that, they need to like still have somewhat of like like a big rock in the middle. What is
Like
like
here,
a hill,
maybe, or something.
and so heavies can go around that and fight there somewhere. Like there still needs to be somewhat of a hill.
Yeah, and I think in this area,
I mean, they do.
this looks a little bit too open as well to me.
And this is basically what you said, but a little bit too open.
Yeah.
Like there's no cover here. You have no rocks to play with, and anything is just like open ground.
Funnily enough, I think I would still rather have this iteration. Just because if you're in a heavy and you find it too open, then just go fight for a 0 or something. I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah, this side I think is just quite a bit too open. They need to add something in this area, some mound or hill.
Like I like having this kind of thing here, like the building thing,
Mm-hmm.
but they need to have like somewhat of a hill. Maybe where the rock is, like behind, straight behind.
Right here, kind of, yeah. Or like here, I don't know.
Like ahead of it, and then they just need to have like a little hill as it had before. So you have like the building, and then you have like a little area where you can like fight each other, but then you have like a big hill, and then you have on the other side you have also an area where you can fight each other.
Yeah, I think that's good.
But it would be more connected than it was before.
Look how much they lowered this top area as well. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Why do we not see this in the game, or in super tests, or in common tests, or something? I don't know. Just glad they're still changing the maps at least and trying to fix something that's hopefully they can continue to cook in the future. I guess this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Looks like it's a little bit higher than I thought it was. Can still fight down here. It's just hard to push into the TD spot after that. Maybe if they raise this slightly as well. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but
They should lower this whole corner area here a little bit, I think.
think so.
So it goes more in.
Yeah, maybe.
Or they hire the top ground a bit, and then because right now someone could just play on top and just shoot you the whole time.
Yeah, true. And I feel like this side kind of has an advantage as well. This is like a gradual slope, and this is like a steeper slope. I mean, it depends if your tanks have like 7 or 8 degrees of gun depression. I think they're gonna dominate this side. This side, you can't. Like if you pull up to this ridge,
Yeah, you can. If you have
you have nowhere to
hills,
pull
you
back
just pull
to.
up to that ridge, and then you just farm people in the side.
They
like
need to add
that.
some lumps here or something to play on.
I just feel like they could add like some kind of rocks up there, and it could be okay.
Yeah, because there's probably a little bit too much crossfire as well. People taking into the castle area can shoot back. Maybe some rocks would decrease that. Ooh, Ruinberg changes. Okay, so this is different than what was put in the game. Oh, some of the changes made it actually.
I mean, this actually happened to the map with like the window change, yeah.
Oh, this happened, but then they changed it again, didn't they?
Yeah.
Is what happened? Okay.
They removed it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because that position was changed several times, so I guess it was in the
put it
game at one
bleeding.
point.
I mean, they basically took this change too because this rubble thing here, because this rubble thing is just the thing that is behind the building that is there now, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember the mid-road position used to be just. You can't even see it. Probably the before changes in this video. It was just way too overpowered. This is what it was before. Holy shit, this is just so broken. No building here? Like, no way, man. I can't even believe that was in the game. That's so broken. The whole fucking field. You just destroy everything. So yeah, that was definitely a good change.
I mean, this window was just so good. You took it in like every fast heavy tank and just farmed the whole field.
Yeah, the entire
like
field becomes
every
basically
medium.
unplayable. So that was a good change.
Also, the zero line compared to what it is now was like way smaller. Where the street is.
Yeah. I feel like they took a massive giant leap backwards with 1.0 HD maps, and they've just been slowly trying to fix it over time, and like it's been like 2 steps forward, or it's like 2 good changes and 1 bad change, and then 2 good changes and 1 bad change, like with Mountain Pass and stuff. I don't know. It's just been
I feel
slow
like
progress.
like about maps was kind of rough. There was like not that many good changes.
Yeah, only really the ice road was kind of improved, and they kind of fucked up the bridge stuff as well. I think the bridge might have been too powerful, but still, I don't think they fixed it in the correct way.
They should have just put like the same position on the other side of the bridge, kinda.
Yeah, something like that might have worked.
Because I feel like the bridge was a good position. And if you were not really careful, you could also just get like re-pushed by some guy that had a problem with you, you know?
Mm-hmm. What did this look like before? You think Wargaming gives a shit that these are being leaked? Probably not. I think they don't give a shit if their super testers leak these map changes. They probably could figure out who it is.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe they do it intentionally to get some of our feedback.
I mean, I don't think it's bad if material like that gets leaked.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because they can see what it makes with the community. Are they like happy about what they saw? Or are they like mad because like something is shit? Give
Yeah.
some chances to like change things.
Avenue.
I think those changes actually happened too.
Yeah, I believe so. The hill
I
changes
remember
were
us
probably
reading.
good. There's two open before.
Yeah, that's what it is now. Wait, what is this change in the middle there? That could have been kind of hype.
Where?
The middle road part there.
Oh, like here?
Yeah.
You mean
Wait,
opening these up into
that
cubbies?
was one building. I can't imagine that today. Like
Yeah, I don't even remember that, to be honest. I don't remember that at all.
that position is just it's good. I don't know.
Yeah. I
I
hate
just
how
feel
much
like
it gets artied, bro.
yeah, that's true. But I feel like if you would have the random event map when the event happened,
Mm-hmm.
that position would also not be pain in any case because you could counter it from like playing the middle.
Yes, I agree. That position is like kind of too strong. It's like too hard to push
Opening
in the
the middle
city.
like it happens in the random event map is like it's actually good because you can counter this position and you can yeah you have
I
more
hope they
opportunities to kill.
change random events so that they just happen after like 3 minutes or something. I don't want them to be random.
Yeah.
Or just say between a certain time period, 3 and 5 minutes or something.
Nice. There was not even a hold on before.
In the mid road.
No, on the corner
Or
there. Okay, let's see what happens here.
that's funny.
They can actually go inside here. It's funny.
I
They
don't
can't shoot
remember
out
that,
of
man.
it. No, that actually never happened.
Oh, okay.
It was just a thing that they were considering apparently. But it is not as good as the other side because you can shoot the field, so it makes no sense.
Yeah. This hold down. I wonder why they don't have this hold down on the other side. It's only on one side of the road. I don't know. I still feel like the south going into that spot and then taking this hold down in the field from the north is at a big disadvantage, really.
I mean, this side also like has this little cubby here
Yeah. This one?
that you can drive. You can drive
Or
into this
here?
cubby. No, like the green side doesn't have this cubby on theirs. Like they don't have the cubby to
Oh,
drive
is
to.
what you mean? Yeah, here?
If you spawn on the red side, you have this cubby here, and you can drive into it, and you have like an actual position to farm in the middle and shit, and proxy the house. But if you do that from the other side, you just sit on the open street.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like this position mirrored.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why they don't have that. They put these changes through, it looks like. Some of them, at least.
Oh, that's the one we have. Like, we got this change here.
Bring back the boost. Bring back the boost.
Bring back the boost. So apparently those things actually made into a game because I remember all those things getting changed.
Yeah, I think they did. Well, this rock here was big.
That just made the whole side more playable. Otherwise, you would never have gone to the outside there.
Yeah. Wonder if they got any recent ones. Guess you can look at the Mountain Pass and Mannheim line. Oh, Project CW. Big fan of that game until I wasn't.
I mean, I actually played it for some time. Was an experience.
Oh man, I'm disappointed that this was the only one and it was 5 months ago. Where's the I want to see like 20 maps being changed, man. Any update on Project CW? They have a program, Lodestar program, exclusive program for testers.
This is Avenue map. Ah, that's the map sent
Oh, I didn't check
on the
that.
screenshot. Recon missions.
Oh, interesting. Ping 999. What is this? Or I'm backing it up. I didn't watch. So far, not super impressed, but I don't know.
I mean, this map has never been released, so that is probably not even like the final form of the map.
True. Yeah, it looks pretty, the textures are kind of basic. There's only one way up that mountain, right? Okay. So another mines.
Basically. I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. But there's a airplane in the house crash.
Interesting. This is all area that's never gonna be used, probably.
The other thing is, what can you really do from this mountain? Like, what can you do from up there?
I don't know. It looks like you can actually overlook the map, can you not?
Could be.
So from the edges, I think you kind of can, but there's so many buildings. But it looks kind of, it reminds me of Himmelsdorf, kind of.
Yeah. Or ruin work. The buildings are kind of ruin work like.
The Roomburgers look like, or the buildings look like Roomburg or Lakeville. Except for the castles, which look like Himmelsdorf. Like, these look like, well, I don't know, I think they look most like Himmelsdorf, honestly. But these buildings, I can see some Ruinbergness. Or, Ruinbergs are more bombed out, I think. But, Siegfried, something like that. But I just mean the hill. Kind of reminds me of Himmelsdorf. But as far as I can tell, it's just like a looks very similar to the old Himmelsdorf hill fight. Like there's no cover or anything.
I mean, they should have ramps from both sides to go up. So it would
Yeah, I
be
agree.
fair.
This doesn't look that appealing to me. At least on
It's just
Himmelsdorf, you can just drive up the hill, and you don't have to
it's
like
just a hill to
you
fight.
don't have to YOLO up and hope you don't die and explode instantly. I don't really like this map so far. Let's see the other side of the map.
I guess if you play CS, that's a perfect map.
Yeah, if you play CS, it's a great map for you. Ooh, you can see nothing. Nice from that spot. That's cool. I mean, it is
This
a
would have been a cool spot if there was no house on the other side.
yeah, yeah. This map looks very early in development. Um, but even just looking at the structure, the raw structure of it, I don't think this would have been a great map.
I mean, it somewhat looks like a low tier map, I would say. Because it's
You
like
you
also
need
not that big.
Yeah, you need to be a fast tank and go up. You have to keep in mind, like, both the teams are gonna be driving up this shit. Like, how many people are gonna manage to get up? Four? Something like that? Five? I don't know. If you try to send more, it's just gonna be a fucking brawl. You're gonna have light tanks driving up here, and then do what? Fucking trade on corners? Doesn't look fun to me. Oh, there's hold downs here. Okay, that's something. On this side, probably on that side too, maybe. But, what about this corner? This corner would be important. Yeah, it's just barren. Nothing. I mean, I guess there might be kind of ridges. Like, they could add something here or something, but I don't know.
That is literally just a Himmelsdorf building. What the fuck?
Yeah. Majestic, to be honest. They would need to add a path here and here or something to make this viable, in my opinion.
I mean, having this path to the middle is okay, but they should have two on the outside too.
Yeah, I agree.
So once you like fight the hill, you can straight drive down the middle road.
It seems like a sketchy ass position, I guess. What are you even supposed to do down here? I guess fight for the corner. What are you supposed to do if you're a light tank? Guess sit in this bush, 70 meters away from where your mediums are brawling? I don't know.
At least they have a bridge in the corner here.
Yeah, that bridge is going to be super useful getting into position.
Getting onto this house and then getting in the bush and shooting people.
I mean, I guess early stages in development, but just the shape of the map is wrong. I think, like where they put the structures and stuff. Like, maybe if you're trying to come up with a theme for a map, this is fine. But if you're trying to do anything regarding trying to make it look like it's playable, I don't think this is a good map.
To be honest, that would be the perfect load tier map because you have like you can experience fighting in the city and you can also experience like light tank gameplay. You can like experience the spawning thing. Like it's perfect beginner mate, I would say. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
You have like the field and you have bushes here and shit to like test out the spotting stuff when you start the game. But you also can fight in the city. It's like
I think they
load tier.
probably already got a map that you can do that on though. Let's see. Uh,
Bring back Mittengrad or some shit.
Mittengard. Wait, it's not even in the Mittengard's not even here anymore. That's sad.
They removed it.
Maybe what's it called? Ruinberg is too much of a big boy map for little tykes. I don't know. I mean, they got province. They can test out their bushes, little bushes here and there. I don't know. Half city, half field map. The only one that really is Siegfried, but Siegfried is not a good one to learn scouting on because there's like 2 bushes and both of them are fucking stupid and not even good. Kind of. I mean, kind of good, but not really. There's no way to progress the field on that map. Paris is a half city, half field map, but the field basically isn't part of the map because no one fucking plays it. I guess. Anyway, I think I should probably Pilsen. Yeah, true. I wouldn't really call it a field though, it's more like dunes. It's like medium tank, heavy tank, not really heavy, fast heavy. Not really, you can't really play fast heavies unless you know what you're doing there. I guess it's for light tanks and mediums. It's not really spotting mechanics here though, there's no bushes.
I don't really like the bush line on that map. I don't know.
I don't either. I think it's
They should add
very
some
bad.
bushes into the middle or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Why don't they just put some bushes in the middle?
Like
And
bushes on like some rock in the middle there.
and I think they could. That would break the railroad tracks. I can't do that. Fuck. Even I think that would probably be going too far. Just just the railroads are just discontinuous and your train just teleports. I don't know what to do about that one.
They should get a random event on that map where like there's a train driving down the railroad and crashing into the bushes or something.
There is going to be one. There's going to be a random event on Pilsen that does something on the zero line with the train, I'm pretty sure.
That
I don't
would
know
be
what
cool.
happens though. There's a description somewhere. Does anyone know where there's a description? I don't really like that the train covers what you spot the whole way. Like, there's only one spot to shoot zero line. I think there should be multiple, probably. And it should be more accessible, and then there should be more bushes in like this area or something. And they could probably even just get rid of this and this entirely. And just make it different kinds of cover. Maybe cut it in half or something, I don't know. Or just remove most of it and make some rocks and make it bushes along the edge.
I mean that would also be probably a cool change for Onslaught if you have different positions there,
Yeah,
because
because an onslaught, you
you
get
just
planed and there's
come,
only one
you
spot
just
to be.
plane. There's only one spot to plane, and it's this fucking like pipes there. You sit behind it, you get spotted, dude. Rip.
Yeah. Resembles proc 1-2 line. Yeah, where there's so many bushes, you have to proxy spot kind of. Except there's a gap right here. And Sheridan is, if you have low noise, can probably make it, but maybe can't. Depends on what their V range is and whether they have vents or if they have optics. If they have optics, you just can't make it. It's very sketchy, man. And then, I don't know. I think there might be a gap on the other side, but this gap I know, like you get spotted way more often here, or at least you make it that far and you get spotted there.
I think you mostly get spotted on that gap because on the other side on the gap there is a bush on the red line there that you can drive through.
On the other side, there's a... Oh, you can go like this, you mean?
Yeah, you can go on the red line and there's like bushes that keep you
Yeah.
like
I,
unspotted
I
from
think going
production.
this way is... This side is very sketchy, this side is less so. But I don't really like when I'm in a scout. I can either play here or maybe here or something and spot people going into the 0 line and just hoping that I get shot at and they miss me or something. And that's how I get my spotting. Or I go full on in the 0 line and I'm just playing 50-50 with a enemy light tank or something. We just proxy each other. It's not very fun. But
Yeah.
you can't really open this up too much though because there's a railroad track. Kind of ruins it.
When once you're like committed and you proxy the other light, then it's literally over.
You're just dead.
Yeah.
Some people will be fine with that. They'll say, okay, I contributed to my team by taking out their light tank. We went 1 for 1. Me, I mean, that's just not very interesting. And plus, I just want to get more, you know? I'm greedy.
Yeah. It's not really greedy, it's just that you get catched by something stupid that should not be a thing. Like,
Mm,
I don't know.
I think they could... I don't know, this is a trickier map. I think this might be one map where it might actually make sense to make the map bigger.
Like, extend the map towards the field so you have somewhat of a bigger field area.
I was thinking they could add half a square or something, or even a full square on the 0 line. They should remove this and make them like some sniper nests and sniper nest here. Make some bushes all in this area so that you can either go out like this and progress and get close to the TDs, or like this
I
and
mean, the
progress towards the
reds,
TDs and CVS them.
the reds should be like somewhere on this line. So you have like behind this, you have like somewhat kind of field stuff. I don't know.
I was thinking if they just expand the entire map, then it wouldn't be a square map though, which I guess they gotta keep the map square instead of rectangular. I don't know how they would do that. Guess just add some useless mountains here and some useless mountains here. I would be fine with that. Or useless scenery, some red line. And then in this area, I think what would make the spotting more interesting is not only do you have these sniper perches, which actually have shots down here. This doesn't have great shots on all of this. Like they can get hidden behind some pipes and also, which is okay to have cover there, but I'd rather it be like mounds. And what I really want here is like some mound areas you can hide behind, or some elevated bushes you can spot from in blind fire, rather than just pipes you just side scrape off of and just hits in a corner. The TDs have better shots, and mediums can still progress through here. You can add a mound here or something, but then small, very shallow mound, and some bushes on either side to get closer to the TDs, so you don't just have to YOLO underneath them and spot them necessarily. You can still do that, but and removing this would mean, so when you're spotting the 0 line, you aren't just only spotting these corners. You aren't just spotting only these corners. You're spotting, both these at the same time and make it more light tank friendly map. And I think it's still okay for mediums because the mediums can snipe. They have the mounds to push up if they want to YOLO if they're in like a 430U or something.
I feel like if they make the map bigger in that case, they could also like remove the water a little bit here, so you have more area to like go across.
Yeah, I agree.
So you have actually like a faster way.
I think that would mostly fix this side of the map. Or it would make it medium tank, light tank, tank destroyer friendly. And for the heavies, I think adding some onslaught like changes in
This thing
here
in the
would
middle
help.
is kinda cool. Same as this window should be here.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely add a little bit of interplay
Because
between these.
this window, this side has the window, but this side doesn't have the window. It's like,
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could go out to a mound here and shoot heavies or something who are taking the mid thing. And the heavies could take the mid thing so that they can progress to like these walls and make them more playable in this area. To be honest, I think it would be okay if they cut off the one line. If that's one way of making it so they don't have to expand the map too much. And then
you can
they would
just
have to
move
make the
this.
city a bit more.
You can just move this building a little bit more in here, so it's still the same that you have like the map border on the outside of the building here, and you still can
Yeah.
play around.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't just sit like here and shoot everything that is like on this side of the street anymore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most people play rather here or here. And if you're here, you can still shoot this.
Yeah. Wargaming, are you writing all this down? Come on, Wargaming. How would you change wide park? I'm just kidding.
Did you ever play this map in like a Clan Wars game or something?
Thankfully, no.
I played that in Clan Wars campaign.
They actually had it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this side is just. I don't know. I feel like this side is superior because you have like all those angles from below here, but you can counter this, and you can just
The way
have
the
someone
way
come here.
the way the rail is curved, I feel like probably is just very advantageous. It's better to be on the obtuse angle, not the whatever the other thing is called angle. Got 'em trapped, kind of. Better
Yeah.
crossfires.
If you have a tank here with gun depression, it was like chieftain meta when I played this map, and then we had chieftains playing here, and whatever played here was just completely getting fucked.
Yeah. Feel like this lake is just too it's just gotta go. It's gotta be reduced in some way. Add something here, I don't know. Angle this. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have much
I feel
experience on
like-
this map, to be honest.
I feel like this lane should be maybe in an angle like that, but not like that, so people with 10 degrees of gun depression can sit here and shoot below the crash train rail and farm this whole angle here.
Mm-hmm. Makes so much sense to me.
Because if this is more of an angle like that, that won't happen unless they like play somewhere.
Wargaming, are you listening to us? Hire me and Nicholas as map designers right now. Do it.
I should not do that, right? But
Yes. Do it.
I don't know. This map would be fixed by like moving the fucking railroad 2 squares.
Ansk.
Ents just needs the onslaught changes, it's fine. Don't need to talk about Ents.
You want to add the strikes as well?
Yeah, they should add the strikes to pop so I can do more damage.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. There's probably other stuff that could be changed too, but I don't feel like thinking about it. Alright, I'm uploading this as a 5-hour podcast, so I'll do that later, I guess. If that's alright with you.
I don't care.
Alright, co-host Niklas. Next time we'll be hosting Barrett. See what he thinks about all this nonsense. Then we'll host some
He's probably
50
gonna say that.
percenters, some party mains.
Ferry would probably say that we were absolute talking shit.
He has a negative opinion of everything, so we'll see. Scheduled maintenance. What do you mean? What do you viewers think about our proposed changes to all these maps? Does anybody have an opinion? Do you think differently than us, or do you agree mostly? Good talk, good talk. Oh, if I could get the Killzone on the podcast, man, Wargaming would be squirming, man. I'd have to address the map changes.
That would be crazy.
I could probably do it. Just give him $50. He'd show up.
Would you?
Yeah, I
Give
think
him
so.
50 subs, maybe.
I'll give him however many subs $50 is. So 10.
It's 10 subs, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, dude.